Week number 9, the Bombers looking for redemption after what happened the last time the BC Lions rolled into town in week number 3. Well, BC attempts to win twice in Winnipeg in the same season since 1988. It's the Lions and the Bombers coming up on TSN.
Old Zach is having another impressive year. What's also impressive is in his last 6 games coming out of a bye week, he's 6-0. But has he faced a defense like he's going to see in these BC Lions coming off a bye week? It remains to be seen how well he does. Go get him, Zach.
Traded in the offseason for a 4th-round pick from Hamilton. Dane Evans, 71% completion so far with the BC Lions. 3 TDs, 1 interception. Can he be the second quarterback to win in Winnipeg, guys?
Brady Oliveira needs to put this team on his back tonight and wear down the tenacious BC defense physically for the Bombers to have any chance to return to the top of the West.
Ooh, I like it, Coach. Well, a boost for Dane Evans and Dominique Rhymes back after sitting the last game with that knee injury. Rhymes still leading the league with those 5 TDs, looking for a lot more offense tonight. Last time it was 30-6 between these two teams in week number 3. What does tonight bring? We have been fired up for this game all week long, and it happens to be the first game of week number 9. I'm Kate Burness, Jim Barker, Paul LaPolice, and Milt Stiegel as we get set for the Lions and the Blue Bombers. We will get to their thoughts in just a moment, but for now, let us head to IG Field and join John Liu. And John, I said it off the top of the show, redemption game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight, but we heard from you that redemption isn't number 1 on their minds this evening.
Yeah, Kate, you've used that R word twice, and my media colleagues in Winnipeg and I tried all week long since Sunday, but the Bombers are not framing this as a revenge game or even a redemption game. Basically, they are only offering that they have to come out with a lot more energy, a much more physical effort, a much faster effort than they did in that shocking Week 3 loss to BC. However, you know what, it's even though publicly they're not attaching any additional importance to this game other than the 8th on their schedule, they know what's at stake here. A month from Labor Day, the season series is at stake, and with it, the all-important tiebreaker against a team that they're very likely going to be fighting down the stretch for West Division supremacy. And so there's that baked-in urgency on top of the fact that the Bombers are coming off a bye and the BC Lions have a short week of preparation for this game. And in addition, the Bombers defense will get a huge boost with the season debuts of cornerback Winston Rose and linebacker Kyrie Wilson. But you mentioned BC is getting a good one back as well in receiver Dominic Rhymes, although defensive tackle Josh Banks is out for tonight. Now, the West Division Leos are coming in on a 3-game winning streak with Dane Evans looking to build on his 2nd straight start, an impressive win over Edmonton last week. Just one note, an update on Vernon Adams Jr. He is medically available to play and is 3rd on the depth chart. However, he will not suit up except in the unlikely event that both Evans and Dominic Davis fall to injury. And so Rick Campbell says that there's a very good chance that Adams will be back in the lineup next week against Calgary, Kate.
What a team guy, John. Working as the equipment manager tonight as well. That is a great teammate, to say the least. So I know they don't want to talk about redemption, but that's exactly what we are going to talk about, because you know for a fact that this game lingers in their mind. I mean, you don't roll into IG Field where they had won so many games at home, and the fact that they only put up 6 points. My goodness, the BC Lions defense have only allowed 5 touchdowns on 99 offensive possessions so far this season. Are we going to see the same result tonight, Lapo, or do you expect to be completely different?
Here's what I think is going to be different, and what Winnipeg needs to do to win, guys. They have got to be better at deep ball explosive pass plays. They lead the CFL with 6 touchdowns of over 30-yard completions. But what happens is when they're facing a great defense like they're facing, they're not going to stay on the field. Last game, they only converted 12% of their deep ball passes. They only completed 12% of their second and long conversions. They've got to do a better job taking shots downfield. They get Lawler back, right? Great catch by Lawler. They got to hit some throws to Schoen. Last game, they missed 2 deep ball throws. They've got to find a way that they can create those explosives to get the ball downfield.
Answer the question, Coach. She asked you. Answer the question.
You are giving me what I call a roundabout answer. That's what athletes do. You're an analyst. Give me a yes or no.
And make their plays.
Are they going to win again?
Here's the bottom line.
Here we go.
Here's the bottom line.
My goodness.
The Bombers need to return to being the bullies that has gotten them from 2019 to now as the top team in the league. They go in and they beat the heck out of you. That's their MO. And they do it on offense. They do it on defense. They run the ball at you. That's what they need to return to. They didn't do that. In that 30-6 game, they started spreading the ball. They were doing fine early. Then they started spreading the ball out and trying to block Betts and those guys coming off the edge. I don't think they can do it. I think they need to return to what they are. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the bullies on the corner.
But neither one of you guys are answering the question. She asked us the question. Are we going to see the same results as last time, or things are going to be different? It's a simple question. I believe we're going to see the same results. The score won't be the same. It'll be closer, but I believe the BC Lions will win. Yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying that coming out of my mouth. I usually choose the Bombers, but this defense is too dominant.
If you want an answer, I believe the Bombers will.
That's it. There we go.
What about you, Coach?
Yes. Winnipeg's going to find a way to win the game. Here's what's important about this game, guys. Season series is up, right? They play them 3 times.
Right.
They cannot allow BC to win this game and close out the season series. You're going to see a fired-up team. I know everyone's saying this game isn't important. Those players are really concerned about how they played last time.
It's important, but that BC defense, Kate said it.
They're
Five touchdowns. That's it. 3 of them happened against Toronto when VA threw 6 interceptions. This defense is dominant. Ryan Phillips has this defense playing out of their minds, and because of that, I don't think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will win this game.
Remember, they're small on defense. I don't know that a lot of teams, Toronto did take advantage of that and ran the ball well. I think that's what these guys have to do. You got 2 240-pounders coming off the edge, and Woody Barron is kryptonite for a lot of guards in this league, but he's only 265, 270.
Yeah, but they're getting it done. They're getting it done.
Right now,
how small they are.
When they start rolling those big boys, Hardrick, and they get those guys going downhill, running the ball.
But what about when they got to block those quick guys off the edge?
Different story.
All right, it took 4 minutes, but we finally got straight answers from all of them. Let's get over to AK with the prop shop tonight.
All right, here we go. BC and Winnipeg, the 2 top teams in the West, the 2 top teams at slowing down the run as well. So as such, we're playing a couple of running back unders, starting with Brady Oliveira, under 73.5 yards rushing. Get this, opposing teams against BC, their starting running backs the last 3 weeks, 23 carries, 23 yards. That's right, 1 yard per carry. Not good. Keep in mind, no team has eclipsed 70 yards rushing, no singular player, that is, against the BC Lions all year long. I think Oliveira struggles on the ground against a very tough Lions defensive front. take his under of 73.5 rushing. On the other side, Taquan Mizell, the other running back in this game for the BC Lions, we're playing his under of 58.5 rushing yards. Don't look now, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on D are getting healthy. Winston Rose is back tonight, but so is Kyrie Wilson at weak side linebacker. I think he's going to make a major impact in this game. He is a run-stopping specialist, a major upgrade for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in that position. I think he makes a significant impact in this game. And let's be honest here, Winnipeg is very stout to begin with against the run. The under for Mizell, a must-play tonight.
Well, fans at IG Field have been so fortunate as of late. 29-3 in their last 32 home games. Will they see another victory tonight? We will find out shortly. Well, here are the FanDuel 5, the top 5 most staked anytime TD props for the Lions and Blue Bombers showdown tonight. Both defenses made the top 5, with the Lions D paying out a plus 460. BC's defense shut out Winnipeg in the second half of their previous meeting. Both Kenny Lawler and Dakota Prukop minus 110 to find the end zone this evening. And it's time for the experts. Jim Barker, your anytime touchdown scorer.
My anytime touchdown is Kenny Lawler. I just think that he's going to get single coverage. They play a lot of man coverage, and when the ball's in the air, good chance he's coming down with it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with the man coverage. I think it might be Nick Dembski. You know, he's got leads their team with explosive pass plays. They're going to throw a corner out to him in the back of the end zone. He's going to make the catch.
Both of you guys on this Winnipeg Blue Bomber bandwagon. Well, I'm going to the other side and go Taquan Mizell.
Take Mill Stiegel Boulevard down.
It's not Boulevard, Coach.
Your street.
He made his return last week. He had over 100 yards. I think this week he has another solid game. Maybe not 100 yards, but he'll definitely get in the end zone.
Milton are on the exact same page, although I put my pick in on the group chat first, and then you copied me right away. But I took Taquan Mizell. Oh, come on. And also, too, I thought he was going to run over tonight, and then I just listened to AK. He thinks he's under. So we know absolutely nothing is what we like to say here on the panel. So have fun at home. Mizell goes for both myself and Milt. AK likes Prukop. Jim, you like Kenny Lawler. And Lapo, you are going with the one and only Nick Dembski. All right, we've been talking about this a lot, but just how dominant the BC Lions defense have been. 0 TDs allowed, 14 Winnipeg possessions the last time they met in week number 3. Of course, it is led by the Canadian Matthew Betts. Already 10 sacks so far on the season, on pace to break the Canadian record. With much more, here's Dwayne Ford.
Thanks, Kate. You know, there have been 8 times previously in CFL history where two different players from the same team have won the most outstanding Canadian award in consecutive years. But never have 3 different players from the same team done it in consecutive years, where there's a chance that that could all change this year. With Nathan Rourke winning last year, Bo Lacumbo winning it 2 years ago representing the BC Lions, Matthew Betts is having the kind of season that could make it 3 in a row for them. And what has made Betts so good this year is that he's become, in my opinion, one of the best poker players in the league. The chess match that goes on at the line of scrimmage. He does a terrific job of setting up his pass rush moves, and it all starts with his speed, his get off on the ball. So let's take a look, and something I want you to watch for in the first clip. You're going to see him use speed. You're going to see him use that to set up an inside move. You're going to see him use that to set up a power move. But here's what I want you to watch for on the first clip. Watch how quickly Betts gets upfield. When it freezes, look at how far ahead he is of his teammates, and look at how Stanley Bryant, the left tackle, was trying to stay tight to his guard. Betts just beats him with speed, blows by. Later in the same game, Bryant recognizes he's got to get wide. Well, Betts recognizes that too. Now Bryant's too wide. Quick move back to the inside, shorter path to the quarterback. Another of his 3 sacks in that ball game. A little later, it's Brandon Council of Saskatchewan. He's up high, tight, narrow base, trying to use speed to match up with Betts. Betts takes him on with power, hits him in the face, knocks him back, gets to the quarterback. Speed used to set up not just that speed rush, but also the inside rush and the power move has made Matthew Betts the CFL sack leader with 10 through 7 games. Fascinated to see what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have to counter Betts in this one.
Let's go, man. Love y'all boys, man. Bombers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom.
And Mayor's chipped up and taken down. Who else? 5th sack of the season for Big Willie.
Looks down the seam. It's intercepted. Brandon Alexander, the free safety, comes over. Winnipeg struggled defensively the first 2 games of the season. Now they're rolling.
This Lions defense is real.
And finally be sacked by
There it is.
His 10th sack of the season, and he waves bye-bye. Dane Evans and the offense, excellent, but not as good as the defense.
No, it is not Throwback Thursday here on the CFL on TSN. It is time to debut a new segment we are calling Coordinator's Corner. Here's Lapo and Jim.
When you have a bye week and you're getting ready to play the top team in your division, the first thing you do is look at yourself. And I'm sure that the Bombers did that. What I'm going to do is take a look at how they're going to attack the BC Lions. The Bombers, are a big, strong, physical team. The BC Lions are undersized on the defensive front. Their defensive ends are 250 or less. Their defensive tackles are in that 265 range. So we're going to add a tight end in a gap, and that creates a big problem. You see here, there's another tight end there that adds a gap to that side of the field, and if they don't put a defensive back in or he gets there late, their run lanes are huge. It also helps incredibly, like you just saw there, in protection. Here they're going to bring down a wide receiver, add a wide receiver from the backfield, and same thing. They are a gap short. So I think in terms of being able to neutralize this great pass rush that BC has and put yourself into the powerful position, Brady Oliveira becomes the key. They have to be able to put 3 guys schematically, add that extra gap, and then allow him to do his thing and allow those offensive linemen to lean on those little guys.
Yeah, and speaking of great pass rush, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that's the strength of what they do. I faced them last year 2 times. There were 2 things we wanted to do. Have free access throws to the quarterback. Free access means you can throw the ball quickly, and before you even have to look at the coverage. As soon as the ball snapped, you know where to go with the football. The second thing we wanted to do, Willie Jefferson and the ends weren't going to affect us. We were going to double them whenever we can. Here you see BC doing it. They're getting an opportunity to take a shot downfield because they slowed down the ends. Then they get a check down for a nice, easy first down. Richie Hall doesn't like when you double their ends, so he's going to now go 6-on-6, create 1-on-1 so you can't double anybody. Well, here's the free access throw. You understand where the throw is, wide side of the field. I can take a quick drop, get the ball out of my hands and not worry. Now, Jim, what's happened is both teams that have beat them this year have also used their legs. So if they can create a couple of first downs, if Dane's got the ability to get a first down or 2 using his legs, that's going to help slow down that pass rush and make this, a win for the BC Lions or a win for Winnipeg.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, should be great.
You know what's great? Coordinator Corner. My new favorite segment on TSN. Until after the break, when we have another new segment. We'll compare next. Coordinator Corner was fantastic with Jim and Lapo, but time to debut another segment on the CFL on TSN. It's called Straight Fire. Straight Fire. And it's not because we wore these outfits on television today, but they do look great. Let's get to this, though. Straight Fire, we're picking the best plays from not just the CFL. We're going to pick these from all across Canada, so we do need your help. I'll get more into that in just a moment, but to kick us off, we have chosen the ones from this season so far.
Yeah, this Milt Stiegel's Straight Fire, best 3 plays for the first 8 weeks of the season.
I like it.
And let's go first of all to the Toronto Argonauts. And Chad Kelly is in this because he throws the ball. He makes a decent throw. But this is all about DeMonte Coxie making this spectacular one-hand catch with the DB draped off only, and he's able to hold on to it. Spectacular catch for your first CFL touchdown. Spectacular. And that's what I love it, because we get to say something nice about the Elks. We said nothing nice about these Elks this year.
That's nice,
but look at this play by
corny.
Let's Doggy. Dangy, not corny, that's Dangy. To Vincent Ford. Moblo with the great catch, the Hail Mary, takes it in for a touchdown. They didn't win the game, but you think about it. You made Milt Stiegel Straight Fire top 3 plays. Hey,
I'm so happy we got a positive elk highlight in there.
There we go. But
I'm sorry, Taylor Cornelius.
You know we got to go to the peg, baby. We got to go to the peg and Janarian Grant. Janarian Grant with one of the best punt returns in CFL history. This punt return is so great that the guy that originally tried to tackle him, Deontay Williams, is also the guy who attempts to tackle him on the last play of the game. You see him heading down Portage and Maine, finishing up on Milsteagle Drive for the touchdown. Then you celebrate. This is something special. Paul LaPolice, you wish you had him when you were coaching. You may still be the coach with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So this was a special play. But as Kate mentioned, we're looking for all types of plays from the CFL, from high school, from college, from your backyard, Pee-wee, whatever you have. Straight Fire is the new segment, and what a way to debut it with Kate and I with these special Straight Fire outfits,
I love this. So how do you send it to us? No problem. Go on social media. There's a bunch of different options, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. We don't care. At the CFL on TSN, or send it to us personally. #StraightFire. And guess what? It could end up in this segment, and we may do something in the end. We haven't really decided, but there'll probably be a trophy involved.
There's something.
Milt will give you half his salary. It's going to be fantastic. So there it is, Straight Fire. Please, please, please send in your clips. We want to make this the best segment going. Meanwhile, I heard Milsteagle Way is being changed to Dalton Schoen Boulevard. Here's John Liu with Dalton Schoen.
Well, Dalton, given how few majors this BC Lions defense gives up, what do you hope to establish in your first possession to set the tone for your offense tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we know they're a good defense. We've watched the tape. We've come up with a game plan, so now it's on us to go out there and execute. We always like to say, you know, it's about us. It's not about them and what they do. So we're confident we go out there and execute. We'll do our job.
For you personally, how therapeutic was that bye week to take a load off of the physical ailments that you've been playing through since early in the season?
Yeah, the bye week's always nice. You know, it's a physical game we play. There's a lot of collisions out there, so it's nice to get a little reset physically and mentally.
Thanks for this, Dalton.
Yep, thanks, John.
You know, just to stick with the Milsteagle theme, he is being inducted into the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame come November.
Thank you.
I honestly didn't think there was anything else you could be awarded.
That's what my wife thinks. Like they're flying you back up for something else. I'm tired of this.
But in all seriousness, Milt, that's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So you know what? Now we do have to talk a little more about your Bombers, though. And if, by chance, they do lose this game, this is a huge question, do we take them from that top tier of the Argos, the Bombers, and the Lions, and then put them into that second tier with the Alouettes, the Rough Riders, the Calgary Stampeders? What happens, Coach?
To me, they drop. To me, BC and Toronto would be standout teams.
Right.
They would drop into the group, the next group.
Wow.
That goes pretty much. I mean, you got Calgary and Edmonton with 1 and 2 wins, and the rest of them are all pretty much in the same. And I would drop them into there if they get beat this week.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. You know, I think
it's a bye week at home.
I think the important thing is they're going to lose the season series if that happens, and that's going to hurt their playoff opportunities to be playing at home. But they're still an elite team. They're still going to be in position at the end of the year, right? They're not a team that is doesn't have a quarterback. They're still going to be in it at the end. It may be a harder path for them if they lose tonight.
You sound like you're trying to get a job back with the Bombers, Coach.
Oh my God! Hey, worry about the job you have, not the job you don't.
You know what? They won't be an elite team. There's no way. There's no way you can classify as an elite team. I don't think they'll be with those other teams. They'll be in a group of their own. You got Toronto, BC, the Bombers, and those other teams. But they can't be considered an elite team. Second time losing at home to BC Lions, there's no way they can be considered an elite team. There's no way. There's no way.
I agree with you, Mel.
You need to be elite on Grey Cup Sunday.
That's true.
That's how you get
That's true.
That's
but the easiest route to Grey Cup Sunday is winning your conference and having a bye.
You know what? I completely agree. The season series is so critically important tonight. Yep. I think overall, either way, I think all four of us agree that this should be an absolutely spectacular matchup after what happened in Week 3. Expecting a lot different tonight, but we'll find out. Milt and I think that the Lions might run away with it. I think we finally got the two answers between Jim and Lapo, that they're taking the Bombers. It's a split panel on CFL on CSN. We'll be back with much more coming up before kickoff at IG Field.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride. Game day. Let's go. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rasheed Bailey gives the Bombers some breathing room. And finally be sacked by Fitz. His 10th sack of the season. Cornelius running for his life, and he's going to be taken down.
Show him what it is. Hey, we got enough people here to show him. We got enough people here to show him. Let's cut the lights off on him. Love y'all boys, man.
And a great day for a CFL game.
A monster matchup kicks off week number 9. The Bombers looking looking for redemption after what happened the last time BC rolled into town. Well, the Lions attempting to win twice in Winnipeg in the same season since 1988. Well, in his last 6 starts after the bye week, Zach Collaros, a perfect 6-0, looking to keep that streak going and to somehow solve the Lions' D this time around. The D led by this man, Canadian Matthew Betts, a CFL high 10 sacks on the season already. And he is on pace to break the Canadian record. Has been absolutely phenomenal. This BC Lions defense overall, 5 touchdowns on 99 opposing teams' offensive possessions. I mean, it doesn't really get any better. Alongside Jim Barker, Paul Lapalisse, Milt Stiegel. Milt, your key matchup for this evening's matchup.
Originally, my matchup was going to be BC versus a well-rested Winnipeg Blue Bomber team because they're coming off a bye week. Then I remembered BC's coming off a bye week too, but that's another topic. But
too soon, too soon.
You're calling Edmonton a bye.
No, be quiet. I didn't say that. But now it's Betts versus Hardrick and Bryant. He destroyed them last game. That entire defensive line destroyed him. They had 7 sacks, so they better make sure they can block him and protect Zach Collaros.
What I love about this BC Lions defense and Ryan Phillips and his defensive backs, when it's time to make a play, what do they play? Man coverage. I love that, right? Gary Peters versus Kenny Lawler. That's my matchup. Kenny's a great player. Put him in one-on-one situations. That's the matchup I'm watching all night, Jim.
Accountability.
Yep.
There's no hiding. I'm going to take Brady Oliveira against Bolacombo and Hladek. I just think that them being able to run the ball and developing that physical mentality that we've come to know from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, to me, that's the key to this game. If they can develop that, come back, and physically beat up the BC Lions, then Winnipeg's back right where they were.
Okay. BC coming off the monster win over the Elks. No, I'm not adding to that joke, Milt Stiegel. But for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as a team, too, not just Zach Collaros, they're phenomenal after a rest in the bye week. Since 2017, they are 11-1. Coming on at IG Field, a great crowd tonight in Winnipeg. Kickoff coming up next on TSN.
Week 9 in the Canadian Football League kicks off with a heavyweight tilt between the Lions and Bombers at IG Field. Winnipeg rolls in on 13 days rest and looking for revenge after losing at home to the BC Lions 30-6 in Week 3. On the other side, BC can wrap up the season series with a win here tonight. It could be a monster on defense leading the way once again.
Yeah, absolutely. One way or another, you've got a couple of those guys playing in this ball game. The league's top 2 sack leaders. Matthew Betts leads the way. 10 sacks in 7 games so far this season. That includes a hat trick the last time these 2 teams faced each other. He was the player of the game. And of course, Willie Jefferson, always a presence, second in the Canadian Football League with 8 sacks thus far this year. And you know he's looking to lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers back into the win column versus BC.
Mike O'Shea and his Bombers at home this season, 3-1 so far. Lost 2 of the last 3 in regular season play to the BC Lions and Rick Campbell, who's 5-0 versus the West. So far this season, BC won the coin flip, decided to take the ball, and this is a big one to kick off Week 9, and we are underway at IG Field in Winnipeg. Thank you very much for joining us. Williams takes it at his own 10, back to the 20, touch it back up. Nice return here, all the way out to the 40 in solid field position. position for the BC Lions and that man, Dane Evans.
Yeah, Dane Evans making his second start of the season in his new colors, black and orange, with the Leos. Solid performance for him against Edmonton last week. And let's bear in mind, Dane's best game of 2022 came against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
5 touchdowns back in September, almost a year ago. Gets another crack at him today with the BC Lions. Bombers show some pressure here early. They'll hand it off to Mizell, over 100 yards last week. Big part of this BC offense.
And we take a look at this group. Michael Couture, the former Blue Bomber, reached game number 100 last week. Number 101 here against his former team. And the BC attack, very happy to welcome back Dominique Rhymes, one of their big play guys, another weapon for Dane Evans in that lineup.
No Rhymes and no Hatcher back in the Week 3 victory. They got them both out there tonight. Evans pressured, hit as he throws, almost intercepted. Home had it in his hands and couldn't hang on as Evans looked downfield for Dominique Rhymes.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I thought at the tail end of this when it looked like Rhymes might have lost his footing as he tried to come back to the ball. But great job by Evan Holm, a guy who's terrific footwork in that defensive secondary has been noted by the Bombers coaching staff. You see how quickly he's able to jump in front of that one.
6 knockdowns on the season coming into this game. No interceptions for Holm. He almost had his first one there. McCray bobbles it just inside the 20, stays on his feet, and pushes it back to around the 25. There's a flag right at midfield as part of this return. Early in the game here, Zach Collaros about to get the ball for the first time.
While the ball is in flight, holding, Winnipeg, number 47. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
And Zach Collaros preparing to go to work, sacked 7 times the last time he faced this BC defense. It seems that the Bombers have responded since then. Physicality, something they've always strived for, but a battle that they definitely lost in the last meeting between these two teams. They seem to have answered the bell since.
Talking to people around IG Field before the game, everybody's expecting a very physical. I know football in general is very physical, but maybe even more so here tonight.
Yeah, as much as everybody says it's just another game, it's not a make or break game, divisional game, it's just about the season series, blah, blah, blah.
It's a big game.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers got slapped in the face the last time these two teams met. And you got to believe they're looking to answer the bell.
They'll hand it off to Brady Oliveira. Gets up to about the 15, and he has been excellent for this Winnipeg offense.
And that's the way the Bombers want to start this game. Stanley Bryant on that offensive line, 4-time most outstanding lineman in this league. You know, he's the guy leading this group and sending the message about what they need to do. Kenny Lawler, second game back for him in this deep Winnipeg receiving corps.
A very late flag being thrown here. Both teams were lined up and ready to go.
Procedure, no end, Winnipeg. It's 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
All right, so we will dial it back and do it again here in the early going. Both of these teams relatively disciplined when it comes to the penalties so far this season.
Yeah, whether missed assignment or missed communication there for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, put themselves in a tough situation after what had been a positive play to kick things off for them offensively.
So 1st and 15 now with this ball on their own 5-yard line. Flags here again. Collaros down the field, far side, has a man and it's caught. Drops it in there for Kenny Lawler and a big one for the Bombers early.
Yep. Beautifully placed ball there.
Offside, BC. That penalty is declined. First down.
For Zach Collaros, you saw a little jump in the interior of that defensive line. Collaros goes over the top, dropping it in perfectly to Kenny Lawler.
Lawler for 93 yards in his return to the lineup. I guess a couple of weeks ago now, prior to the bye. Didn't look like he missed a beat. Big one there. Up to the Winnipeg 39. Collaros over the middle, down the field for Schoen. Got it! He'll take it down to the 20, stays on his feet, and he's gone! Early bird special from the Bombers! Collaros to Schoen, and they go on top.
Well, take the deep shot, hit the deep shot, and maybe get BC out of their aggressive ways up front, but you'll notice an extra offensive lineman in as a tight end, widening the edge, giving you an extra pass protector. One of the adjustments the BC Lions, or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, make offensively in this ball game. They get that max protection. That allows them time for the deep route to develop. Collaros to Schoen, I think you've heard that one before.
Yeah, a lot last year, not as much this year. A 3-play, 100-yard drive, 71-yard strike to Schoen, who had not been connecting with Collaros this season regularly on the deep ball. That one, their biggest of the year. Castillo out for one more. And a flag flies as he kicks it through for the Bombers. What a start. A BC defense that hadn't given up a touchdown in 44 possessions gives one up here on the very first drive of the game for Winnipeg. The officials continue to discuss this flag. Interested to see how BC responds here, getting punched in the mouth early. Zach Collaros with 105 yards passing on 2 plays, not even 3 minutes into this ball game.
I could not see that. Yep. Illegal formation against BC. A penalty is declined.
Penalty declined. Winnipeg on top, and how about this to start a football game when you're looking for some redemption against the Lions? That'll do it.
On the man of the moment, Dalton Schoen lines up as the number 2 receiver into the boundary. And out of the slot, he's just going to go. Little jab to the outside, gets the release to the inside, and gets on top on the halfback, TJ Lee. Zach Collaros spots it early, puts the ball up, and Dalton Schoen just goes and gets it. Shades of 2022 for that duo.
Rookie of the year last season. Just a monstrous campaign. TJ Lee tried to trip him up at about the 10-yard line. Did not work, and now we get to see how the BC Lions handle some rare adversity. Williams from the 11. Little hesitation, spins his way up to about the 35-yard line. Let's take another look. Another angle of this Schoen strike.
Here you get a good look at the line of scrimmage. Collaros with a clean pocket from which to work. Time to set up and puts that one right on the money.
A lot of the big plays last season with Schoen and Collaros would be when they get Zach out on the run a little bit to his right. Schoen takes off. That time, as you mentioned, stayed in the pocket, hung in there, and found his favorite target deep down the field. 1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 36. 4-man rush. Evans looking down the field. That will fall incomplete. He was almost hit as he threw that. Bombers defense stepping up here early.
Conversation happening there as we take a look at the Bombers defense, where at tackle Ricky Walker off to a good start. 3 sacks for him from the interior of that defensive line. And they welcome back a couple guys that have been out with injury to start the season. Kyrie Wilson checks back in at the weak side linebacker spot. Highly athletic player coming back from an Achilles injury. And the veteran corner Winston Rose, a former BC Lion, former league interception leader, is back at his field corner spot.
Wilson last played July 4th of 2022. Lucky Whitehead's got it, and he has a first down wrapped up by Cranby, but not before he picks up about 11.
Lucky Whitehead, one of a couple former Bombers in this BC Lions lineup. Let's get a look at him connecting with Dane Evans. Just a quick hitter.
First completion of the night for Evans. First catch for Whitehead. He had 6 against Edmonton last week. First and 10 from the 47. Evans dumped it into the feet of Mizell, as he was once again facing a little bit of heat from that Bombers front.
Yeah, and you anticipate, obviously, on a screenplay that defensive line is going to get blocked, and then released. I think they got released a little early for Dane Evans' liking on that one. It impacts his throw to the running back.
Evans, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns last week in his first start. Second time he saw action, but his first start since Vernon Adams went down. This is start number 2. Gets it away quickly to Whitehead again, and he gets popped at midfield, likely be about a yard shy of another first down.
Yeah, just shy, but given the field position and within a yard, get the expected short yardage teams coming in on both sides.
Veteran quarterback in this situation in Dom Davis. This place will erupt early if the Bombers defense can find a stop. Davis big, 3rd and short early. Bombers waving that they stopped him, but this will be close to Wayne.
Yeah, it looked like Davis had a little bit of a crease as he slid to his right there. Then he disappeared into the pile. Tough from our vantage point to tell just how far he was able to progress.
And they turn it over on downs. Measurement not even needed. Told you they'd go nuts. Davis needed just 1. Couldn't get there. We've talked a lot about this BC defense this week, and a chance to earn their paycheck right here as Winnipeg takes over just shy of midfield. Turnover on downs as Davis got denied. And juicy field position for Collaros. Lions bring some heat. Collaros down the field again, and he's got it again. Touchdown Winnipeg. Are you kidding me? All the way down the field into the arms of Lawler. Wow.
To quote our good friend Milton Stiegel, oh my goodness. Once again, max protection, extra O-line in there, gives them a clean pocket, time to push the ball deep, and you know they've got the receivers to go and get it. This time it's Kenny Lawler for the major.
Boys, I want to do.
Zach Collaros, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns on 3 completions. Castile hammers it through in a stunning turn of events as the Bombers go up by 14, not even midway through the first quarter.
This time it's Kenny Lawler. Lines up as the number 2 receiver, middleman in that tripped formation to Zach Collaros' right side. Again, load up with an extra offensive lineman, maximum protection for the Bomber quarterback. And Lawler's just going.
First touchdown of the season for Lawler. Had a step, and Zach dropped it right in there for him.
Everyone's talked about this as a heavyweight tilt. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have come out throwing haymakers.
Lions on the ropes in the first round. The BC defense had only allowed 5 TD drives this season, only 2 of them had been for more than 55 yards. Both of the Bombers' touchdown drives tonight were more than 55 yards. Rather remarkable stuff. A little shorter kick. Williams slides underneath it, sidesteps the first tackler, and takes it just shy of the 40. Now, if you're Dane Evans, how do you approach? You don't want to push too much down the field early on because there's so much time left in the game, but probably feel some pressure to do something here.
Well, I think sometimes coaches and players may feel a little bit of that pressure, but the thing to me that quiets down the Winnipeg crowd and takes away their momentum is actually a long drive.
Yeah.
As opposed to necessarily one big play. Get their offense on the sideline for a little while.
BC works from their own 38, down by 14. Stretching it out there for Mydell, and he's got some room, a first down, and taken down just outside the 50. Best play offensively for the Lions so far this evening.
Yeah, and I like the call in this situation. Run the football, grind it out a little bit, slow this ball game down. Don't get into, as we use that boxing analogy, we don't want to stand there and trade haymakers right now because that's not in BC's favor at this moment.
From the 52, Whitehead hauls it in at the 55, short pickup. About 3 yards. Third catch of the game for Lucky Whitehead.
And the unfavorable second and long for Dane Evans and the BC Lions. Then out around midfield where they turned the ball over on downs on their previous possession.
Down the field looking for Whitehead, just inside the 15. No! Laid out for it, bounced away from him as he went down. Oh, that would have been a big one.
Yeah, and you'll see as we take another look at this one, this ball fluttered a little bit, and I think this affected Lucky Whitehead's ability to judge the football. He has a little bit of trouble tracking this when you see he kind of slows down a little bit and ends up with that one just off his fingertips as he ends up having to dive for it.
So instead, Flintoff to kick it away from about the 45. And that one over the head of Greg McCrae into the end zone and out of bounds. Lucky Whitehead down the field. Dane Evans thought he had it. He did not. Winnipeg's ball when we come back. It was a rough ride back in week 3, the first meeting. Kolaris sacked 7 times. The offensive line with a little something to prove and improve on. Let's send down to John Luke.
Yeah, Dustin, and that was then, this is now. And following Kenny Lawler's touchdown, catch and run, the Bombers coming off the field to the sidelines were fairly subdued in their celebrations, except for center Chris Kolankowski, who screamed an LFG. And of course, I'm abbreviating for a family audience, but that emotional outburst really exemplifies how hard the offensive line took their loss against BC, with 7 sacks, enabling only 235 yards of net offense. So their mandate for tonight, as we've said repeatedly tonight, is to be more physical and to be prepared for the speed of BC's front 7, which caught them a little bit off guard last game. And Brady Oliveira says that he feels like the offensive lineman had a fire lit under him after that humbling loss, because in the ensuing games, he felt like he's had more time and space to rip off a lot of yards after contact, guys.
It's a well-censored John Liu down there, keeping it PG rated, and an incompletion here to Bailey.
So you're telling me that didn't stand for lots of fun, guys? Take a look at this BC Lions defense. Josh Banks out at defensive tackle. Last year's number 3 overall pick, Nathan Cherry from the University of Saskatchewan, gets the start in his place. Bo Lacombo in at the weak side linebacker spot, 2021 most outstanding Canadian. The veteran on the back end, TJ Lee, is at the boundary half.
some time. Oh, look at this. Down the field again. Flag on the play. Lawler went down to get it. Fireworks from the Bombers. This one, though, back the other way.
Offensive pass interference. BC, number 89. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down. Winnipeg 89.
Here you see Kenny Lawler lined up as the wideout this time. Takes the route to the inside where he finds himself working against Marcus Sayles. Right at the end, you'll see him fight back to the inside, trying to wrestle Sayles out of the way to get back to that football.
Wise man might suggest Winnipeg just throws it deep again, but we'll see what happens on the 2nd and 20. 3 flags already against the Bombers in this game. Lawler is walking off, kind of holding his side. He's being tended to right now on the sideline. Here's Kolaris. Dumps it off to Dembski. He's got some blocks. Dembski up to the 45, and he will be stopped shy of the 20 that they needed. Ended up with about 15.
Winnipeg mixing it up. That time going to the screen as they saw a 3-man rush from the BC Lions on the play. But with 9 other defenders sitting deep in coverage, they were well positioned to come up and make a play on Dembski ahead of that first down marker.
Kolaris 4 of 5, 162. And 2 touchdowns. A nice start if you have him in your fantasy lineup this week. Jamison Sheen just outside his own 30. Williams will watch this bounce. And he steps out of bounds at the 20. A flag back on Winnipeg's side of the field, just inside the 50. And we will sort that out when we return. Dane Evans and his BC Lions on the road, trailing by 13 in the first quarter. An in-game dose of what is happening here in a rather stunning start. Deep shots to Schoen and Kenny Lawler against a defense that really doesn't give up anything.
Yeah, I mean, they have been in lockdown mode in that BC defense for the last couple of games. But the Bombers looking to turn this thing into a track meet right out of the gate.
Kenny Lawler is in the tent right now getting looked at. And as we mentioned earlier, kind of holding his ribs as he came off after he got called for that offensive pass interference. BC backed up to their own 10 here. They'll give it to Mizell, but he's got nowhere to go. Line of scrimmage and not much more.
Yeah, the Winnipeg defensive line did a good job flattening that one out, forcing Mizell to stop his forward momentum. Willie Jefferson calls for more noise.
Doesn't have to ask for that much more. This place is already rocking early. Second and 9 for Evans. 3 options to his right. Looks that way. Throws that way down the field for Holland. Intercepted by Houston. Oh my goodness. DeMario Houston holds it in. His 6th interception of the season is another big one, and the Bombers defense strikes again.
We talked about the risk of trying to go for the big play simply because the Bombers had hit a couple. BC does it here, tries to force a deep ball. DeMario Houston, as he has done on 5 previous occasions this year, snuffs it out.
The third-year man with his 6th interception of the year. Clearly leads the league. Now Brady Oliveira at midfield, maybe a yard. as Winnipeg continues to carry the momentum of this ball game and now mixing in their running back a little bit.
Oh, we had a good chat with Brady Oliveira this week and talked about his pride in currently being the only Canadian starting at running back in the CFL, with his predecessor here in Winnipeg, Andrew Harris, taking a little bit less of the workload in Toronto this season, carrying that flag proudly, producing for his hometown team.
Averaging just over 5 yards per carry is Oliveira.
Offside, BC, number 56. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
David Menard jumping a bit too soon. So this defense against the West this year, in 5 games in which they're 5-0, they'd only allowed 6 points per game against the West in 5 games this year. And Winnipeg's put up 14 here in the first quarter and have the ball right on the 50.
And Matthew Betts posted 3 of the 7 BC sacks. The last time these two teams met, quiet thus far.
Kolaris backpedaling, now to his left, pressure coming, fumbles the ball, it's just laying there. BC trying to get on top of it as a wild first quarter continues. The officials will gather. That ball was sitting right between the legs of a BC defender. Didn't see it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the tail end of this one. Bo Lacombo in pursuit. Zach came off the field signaling incompletion as in it had been ruled that his arm was going forward, but you watch his hand. I think he started trying to throw it and then tried to pull it back.
After his hand got hit, he tried to regroup it.
Is an incomplete pass, third down.
I think the Bombers dodged a bullet.
Yeah,
that call.
Yeah, because it looked like he was going to pass it, got his hand hit, and then tried to regather the ball.
Tried to pull it back in.
And dropped it. And it'll bring up third down. So BC's defense finally causing some issues. In the end, it was Winnipeg that did recover if it would have been ruled a fumble. So they would have either been punting one way or the other. With this ball on the BC 50, a chance to pin the visitors deep. Side kick there from Sheen. That one will bounce at the 11 off of Bomber and out of bounds, and that will bring a flag. Dane Evans 3 and 8 to start this football game, 24 yards and an interception on a deep try to Hollins, who doesn't have a catch yet in this game. Whitehead is the only BC Lion who's caught a football so far this evening.
Obviously a quick start out of the gate in this one for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But we all know the nature of Canadian football. There is so much time left in this ball game and so many ways to score points that this is where, when you're BC, you've got to be careful.
Winnipeg, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Not to press too hard too early.
Yeah.
By no means are a two-score deficit in the first quarter anywhere near insurmountable. Don't treat it as such.
No targets in the direction of Keon Hatcher yet in this ball game. Now they'll toss it out to Mizell. Mizell broke one tackle, but it was wrapped up by Cranby after a short pickup on first down.
Taquan Mizell, among the Canadian Football League's rushing leaders here early in his first season. Had a chance to chat with him a little bit this week. Told us how he and Dane Evans have some mutual friends in their football past, so two of them had met prior to training camp. Evans has been key in helping him get up to speed on the Canadian game.
2nd and 6. Near side, Rhymes goes up, gets it. Looks like that forward progress, he caught it at the 40, will be enough for a BC Lions first down. 19's first catch of the ball game.
And once again, you'll see Rhymes doing a nice job pushing upfield, but then working back to the football. Big frame shielding out the defender, going up to get that one for his quarterback. Move the sticks.
5 games so far this season for Rhymes. Almost 300 yards. 5 touchdowns. 1st and 10 from the 40 for Evans. Another completion. Just shy of a first down as he gets it right back into the steady hands of Rhymes.
Rhymes had such a terrific breakout season last year for the BC Lions. Seemed like he had instant chemistry with quarterback Nathan Rourke. Quickly emerged as a big play man in that receiving corps.
Final play of the quarter sees Dom Davis into the game. Short yardage on 2nd down. Failed on a 3rd down earlier. Didn't need much here. He was wrapped up rather early, but very close to getting a fresh set of downs for the BC Lions. Winnipeg firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball in this one. Schoen, Lawler, both finding the end zone. 14-1, the lead. Welcome back to IG Field in Winnipeg. Bombers in control of this one early, up 14-1, and just an extremely efficient offense so far for Winnipeg.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of laughed during the break about the time of possession, where you quickly learn that number of explosive plays trumps time of possession in terms of impact on a football game.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Dane Evans in this BC offense tries to get just a sliver of momentum back here early in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and I still maintain that for BC, it's not about trying to go big play for big play with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That may be Winnipeg's game plan for this one, and obviously it's worked out well for them. But I think when you're BC, don't press the panic button. Stick to what you had planned coming into this.
Took a deep shot to Lucky Whitehead, and he couldn't haul it in. And another one to Hollins that was intercepted by DeMario Houston as we are underway here in the 2nd quarter. Evans on the run to his right down the field. And that one misses everybody out of bounds. And Evans holding his chest as he bounces back up.
Yeah, he took a heck of a shot there from Adam Bighill just as he released that football. Watch for Bighill coming from 2nd level on the left side of your screen. He's going to race to the outside as Evans rolls, and he's coming downhill. Whether that ball was there or not, he was going to hit the quarterback on that one.
Bighill leads the team in tackles once again. Evans near side has Mizell, his running back, who does haul it in, but they will be a good 3 yards shy of a first down right near midfield.
Yeah, to no one's surprise, it's Willie Jefferson and his wingspan impacting that play again. He took an inside rush on this one. Watch for Jefferson coming hard to the inside. He gets an arm up in the passing lane. That's going to force Dane Evans to escape to his left. Try to find an open lane. He has to settle for the check down.
Lintoff gets us the way, bounces into the hands of McCray. And a couple of guys miss, and then lunges out just past the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at this BC Lions defense coming in to this week. It's been rather remarkable stuff.
Yeah, certainly we talked off the top about that impressive shutout string, 44 consecutive possessions without allowing a touchdown. Pitched a couple of shutouts this season. which is absolutely remarkable. Again, when you talk about the number of different ways to score points in Canadian football, a blank sheet speaks volumes.
Wake-up call for that defense in the first quarter. Now Kolaris gets it out to Schoen, and Schoen forced out of bounds by Gary Peters at the 30-yard line.
Oh, there you see BC defensive coordinator Ryan Phillips, longtime defensive back in this league. Perennial all-star, very impactful guy, something of a ball hawk.
He sure settled in nicely as a defensive coordinator, hasn't he?
Terrific transition, and credit to head coach Rick Campbell, who arrived with an agenda of hiring some younger coaches who are going to develop, who have some upside. Ryan Phillips certainly fits the bill.
Oliveira just power backing it all the way through, and that should be a first down for Winnipeg. Just his second carry of the ball game. He's done a lot of the heavy lifting late in ball games as they've sealed victories away, and starting to get mixed in here tonight.
Yeah, and it's interesting in this one to see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tact, as everybody was looking for them to be more physical and maybe anticipating a heavy dose of the run game early on.
Now they get creative, dumping it back to Dembski, and he's got a first down carry before he's wrapped up and taken down by Woody Barron.
Well blocked up, and you see Nick Dembski, the former high school running back. He's going to line up. Got Brady Oliveira on the inside on this one, Dembski on the outside. Oliveira leading the way as a puller. He provides the read for Dembski as he pulls the man outside. And look at the size of that hole for the slot to run through.
A lot of weapons in this offense as they have McCray in behind Kolaris there. And now they'll send McCray out to the bottom of your screen where he'll work one-on-one against Gary Peters. Kolaris, that's where he's going to go. McCray went up for it through his hands and incomplete.
And nice bit of play action, but you get a look at the versatility of some of the pieces at offensive coordinator Buck Pierce's disposal in this Winnipeg offense. As they move around, Nick Dembski ends up lining up as the running back. Greg McCray, who could play running back, ends up as the intended receiver downfield. Moving Oliveira around as well. Just unable to connect there.
2nd and 10 for Winnipeg on their own 48. Kolaris out to his right, looking down the field, finds Schoen, and that's another Winnipeg first down. 3rd catch of the game for Schoen.
Well, Zach Kolaris and Dalton Schoen starting to find their rhythm. Duo that was so dangerous last season. Already connected for a touchdown here, this time moving the sticks and into BC Lions territory.
Schoen well on his way to a 100-yard game, already at 89. Has just one 100-yard game so far this season. 1st and 10 from the BC 50. Kolaris near side, Lawler back in the game. And back connecting with his quarterback, takes it down inside the 40.
Yeah, and you talk about guys refinding their chemistry. With Zach Kolaris, Kenny Lawler had a year away after being the league's top receiver in 2021. Took his talents to Northern Alberta in free agency. But happy to be back in blue and gold this season.
Over 100 yards for Lawler. Now they'll get it out to Dembski again. Look at him, broke one tackle, got to the 30, and that is where he is wrapped up by a number of members of the BC Lions defense, including Matthew Betts. You got this 1-2 punch with Lawler and Schoen, and then all of a sudden you can just mix Nick Dembski in wherever you want. Dembski's having another phenomenal year, second on the team in receiving yards coming into the game and catching 88% of the passes thrown his way.
Yeah, I mean, it's frightening to think when you talk about Lawler and Schoen as a 1-2 punch, but then you think about the number of big plays that Dembski has made, that Rasheed Bailey has made, that Greg McCrae has made.
And Wolodarski has 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
McCrae's an interesting one because we have an ongoing argument in our fantasy league of what position he should be eligible to be started in, right? And that's just another sign of this versatility of the Winnipeg offense. And of course, with Janarian Grant out, handling return duties as well. Those are big shoes to fill. Janarian Grant and the numbers that he puts up in the return game are very impressive. McCrae doing his best. Well, Grant's a sideline. Well, if you're the BC defense here, you'd sure like to come away with a field goal attempt for Sergio Castillo, I'm sure. Already trailing by 13 and having a hard time generating anything offensively. Will get him a first down. Brady Oliveira looking to do it. Back to the line of scrimmage, and he will be stopped by the Lions, and he's a couple of yards short, at least 2 or 3.
You'll see Matthew Betts, number 90, crashing in from his defensive end position. One of a number of BC Lions defenders. Getting after Brady Oliveira on that one.
Castillo, just 1 miss on the season, firing at 93.8% to put his team up by 16. Smooth as they come, knocks it right down the middle. And Winnipeg with a lead. BC Lions could use a big play from that guy, getting Dominique Grimes back in the lineup. Can they get him back in the end zone? That's what the Lions are trying to get themselves back into in this ball game, trailing 17-1. Evans quickly finds his fullback on a short gain on the far side of the field. Mackey hauls it in.
Yeah, blitzing weak side linebacker. Ball had to get out quickly. David Mackey out in the flat. You're never wrong to get the ball to the fullback from Western, Dustin. It's
Feed the fullback from Western.
A theory I have long lived by.
I start to think you're a little biased.
That may be true. That may be.
3 yards on that completion of Mackey. 2nd and 7 for Evans. Quickly again, right side. Lucky Whitehead has it. Houston was right there trying to strip another one away, but that'll be a BC first down. Evans has wasted no time tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, got to get it out of his hands quickly, and got Lucky Whitehead on the outside on this one. Going to duck underneath. Knows he's in traffic. You see him get the shoulders low. Knife upfield upon catching that ball.
Dietrich Nichols eventually making the tackle on Whitehead after Lucky picked up his 4th catch of the game. BC on their own 52. Looking for some offense here. Evans with time. Near side. Hatcher wide open at the 40. Down to the 35 and forced out of bounds by Evan Holm. But a sign of life for the BC offense.
Yeah, it's an interesting look for BC because they go double tight ends here. You see Javon Catoy, David Mackey lined up on either end of the line. They're not going to stay to block. They're going to release on this one. I mean, Winnipeg's got BC outnumbered deep in coverage, but Hatcher kind of pushing deep, working back. Manages to free himself of coverage.
First catch of the game for Hatcher, goes for 26. Evans over the middle. Jefferson almost picked that off. Oh, Willie almost got himself one there.
Yeah, Willie Jefferson, you're going to see him lined up out wide on this one. He's going to drop in coverage. Shows rush, bails. needless to say, caught Dane Evans a little off guard when the guy who's second in the league in sacks is dropping in coverage.
Big 2nd and 10 here for Evans. 3-man pressure goes to Hollins, and Hollins is awfully close to a BC first down.
Hollins, second of the 2 receivers coming out of the stack here. And he's a guy who's flashed a little bit for the BC Lions this year in terms of looking for a bigger role. He has had some moments.
459 yards receiving, leads the team in that category, and catches and targets and yak yards. Davis in third and an inch or two, not much more, and that'll be it. Job's done by Dom Davis. Boy, this is a big drive here in the second quarter for BC.
Yeah, it certainly is. And again, this is what I alluded to earlier about BC's ability to get the momentum back, that it wasn't necessarily going to come from one big play and going back and forth, but it was going to come from keeping Zach Collaros on the sidelines for a little while.
Evans now 10 of 17 for 95 yards and an INT. Busy night for Lucky Whitehead, who's at the bottom of your screen. That's Rhymes. Evans looking downfield, in trouble. Jefferson has him, and they take him down. Flag on the play as Willie wrapped him up. Looks like a flag against 5 in blue.
Yeah, I think he may have caught the back of that jersey, the horse collar area, as he reeled Dane Evans in.
Unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle, Winnipeg, number 5, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Crowd at IG Field does not agree.
Well, we'll see Willie Jefferson here on the right side of your screen, just outside that goalpost. Getting upfield. There you see, left hand gets the back of the collar of Dane Evans' jersey.
And it's been challenged by Coach O'Shea. He has thrown the challenge flag for just the second time this season.
The interpretation of this challenge, I think, is going to be interesting, because it didn't look like there was much doubt about the horse collar part of it.
Well, and that's why a longer discussion here between Justin McInnes.
Winnipeg is challenging the previous ruling on the field for roughing the passer. The play will be reviewed.
Stick around. We'll find out what happens when we return.
Well, Willie Jefferson's the man we're watching from his defensive end position here. Now, he does get held on the play, but the horse collar seems pretty clear.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Winnipeg will be charged a timeout.
O'Shea not getting the overturned call he was hoping for, and now his defense has to go to work. First red zone opportunity for either team here tonight. Goes to BC, trailing by 16. They hand it off to Mizell, and he takes it down just inside the 10. Looked like Jefferson and Nichols were both there to wrap him up. Mizell has obviously stepped in nicely this year for the BC Lions, and there he is just behind Brady Oliveira in the yards per game leaderboard.
Yeah, nice find for the BC Lions, who of course lost James Butler to Hamilton in free agency. Mizell filling the void nicely.
2nd and 9 for Evans. In the pocket towards the end zone for Whitehead. No! Covered by Holm. Whitehead's calling for a flag on the play. Another look look at it. Was he not able to get his right arm up to try to make this catch?
Yeah, we'll take a look here. Watch for Whitehead coming left to right on your screen in the secondary. It didn't appear that there was a grab or anything from home unless it came earlier in the route.
So Sean White to put 3 on the board. He's hit 15 in a row. Make it 16 for Sean White. Steady as they come. BC cutting into this Winnipeg lead here in the second quarter.
It's on my watch list.
It is, eh? Do you have a big watch list?
I actually do. I have a rapidly growing watch list.
Yeah. My watch list is probably full of shows that other people think are stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I have a unique taste in television. Now they'll get into Dembski, and Dembski takes it just outside the 45. Kolaris 217 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, and boy, he's been good at home, hasn't he?
He's been unreal at home. You look at the numbers, 21-2 since joining this team late in 2019. Led them down the stretch run. 3 consecutive Grey Cup appearances as well.
Back-to-back MOPs.
Oh, right, those little things.
You just forgot the MOPs. Here is Kolaris down the field, and that is held onto for a first down as he gets it back to 89. Kenny Lawler hauls it in, his 4th catch of the ball game. He is already over 100 yards as we hit the 3-minute warning at IG Field.
But
coming up at half, we are going to be chatting about the 2 big plays to start this game, and then after that, the gentlemen have told me that there's been nothing else to break down. Jim, not a big 3-minute warning guy either.
God, just run the ball once. Just give me one run.
Just once.
How can you not be a big 3-minute warning guy? Huh? That just doesn't sit well with you. Almost time for them to go back to work. Kolaris with time gets it away. That is caught wide open. Wolotarski for a big chunk takes it down inside the 35 as Winnipeg marches on.
Always reliable Drew Wolotarski. Typically lining up at that wide side, wide receiver spot. Here working across the middle. Finds himself wide open. Easy first down pickup for Zach Kolaris and the Bombers.
First catch of the game for Wolotarski. Dembski with 2, Schoen with 3, Lawler with 4. So far here in the opening half. Kolaris, pressure in his face, tosses this one up. Lawler turning around, can't get there, but he's knocked down. And Jalen Edwards-Cooper taking a pass interference penalty that he probably didn't have to take.
Pass interference. BC, number 29. Spot of the foul, first down.
Bit of a panic play there for the BC Lions defender. As that ball's drifting out of bounds. Falling short.
Lawler had pretty much given up on it when he was taken down. Yeah. That's a backbreaker for Edwards-Cooper.
And another chunk play for the Winnipeg offense.
Brady Oliveira stands in to the right of his quarterback, Zach Kolaris. He'll give it to him. Oliveira right up the gut, and he's home. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Second rushing touchdown of the season for Brady Oliveira, and they blow it wide open late in the second quarter.
wanted to take care of business at the line of scrimmage. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers doing so right here as Oliveira goes in untouched. The third Bomber major of this first half.
Castillo for a 20-point cushion. Right down the middle, cap off a 5-play, 70-yard drive that took less than 2 minutes.
Terrific job, basic play here by the Bombers offensive line. Watch the center, Chris Kolonkowski. He's going to get his man turned, working towards the right side of your screen. Patrick Neufeld, the right guard, seals off Woods. They create that gash right up the middle. A gap right for Brady Oliveira to go in standing up.
Untouched to the house for Brady Oliveira and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We discussed it, a bit of an axe to grind here with the BC Lions after what happened in week 3, and they have shown the Lions who's boss at IG Field so far tonight.
Running it in for the most recent touchdown, but again, a touchdown set up by a deep shot.
Just under 2 minutes for BC to try to put together some sort of a response. Here's Williams. Good field position will help, and that's what he's got for them. Williams all the way out to the 45, and that's workable for Dane Evans and the Lions offense.
Yeah, plenty of time here for the BC Lions to respond to the most recent Winnipeg Blue Bombers score. See Evans' numbers on the day. Of 18, 95 yards through the air.
Coming into this game, completing with just over 70% of his passes in essentially 1.5 games, almost 2 full games, I guess. Over 540 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nothing yet here today. Pressure from the Bombers. Evans gets it away quickly to Whitehead, who went down, got it, bounces back up, and is wrapped up immediately there on the far side of the field by Rose. 5th catch of the game for Lucky.
Yeah, good execution in terms of getting the ball out quickly for BC with 7 rushers coming. An equally good job by the Bombers defensively, keeping the ball in front of them. You know it's got to get out quick. It's not going to be a deep route. Just got to be sure tackling on those ones.
2nd and 4 for Evans. Takes off. Now finds Rhymes for a first down inside the 50. Stepped up nicely under pressure in the pocket and completed the pass.
Yeah, nice escape there by Evans, keeping his eyes downfield the entire time before zipping that one in to Dominique Rhymes. You'll see ends crashing.
Out from the Winnipeg 46. Evans pressure in his face, gets it away.
Terrible read by Dane Evans, but obviously the throw comes up short, and we talk all the time about how accuracy is impacted by pressure, and here it's going to be Redekramdi coming free off the edge. He's the unblocked man. He forces Evans to get rid of this one in a hurry. Also from the left side, Brandon Alexander following Keon Hatcher across. If Evans puts a little more air on that one and leads Hatcher downfield, they get away with that play. So that's why I say I'm not horrified by the read, but just not enough on the throw.
Execution not there for Evans that time. 2 interceptions on 12 of 21 against this Winnipeg defense. Polaris now has a completion for a first down just outside the 40 to Lawler. McCombo says he took it away, but this was already blown down. And I would say Winnipeg get within field goal range, but I feel like Winnipeg wants to pop another one in there and really knock the boots off the Lions here. BC brings pressure near side. Wolotarski has it, turns, and that'll be another Winnipeg first down with tons of time. 44 seconds still on the clock.
Well, the Bombers chipping away. It seems like the key for when they're going to go deep, to me, has actually been when they bring in an extra offensive lineman, a situation where you think it's going to be physical running play, short yardage type stuff, but they've used that formation a little bit differently tonight. They've used it to go max protect when they've wanted to take deep shots in this ball game. 2 touchdowns and the PI call that Lawler drew.
Dumping it off to Wolotarski again, and he's just shy of another first down. As they take it just outside that BC 20. Quick work here from the Bombers offense.
Yeah, very efficient looking drive from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Brady Oliveira right up the middle, pounding his way down inside the 15 for another first down for Winnipeg. Polaris barking out some last-minute instructions. Wolotarski in the slot. And that was Menard, or Woody Barron rather, who came busting through.
Well, Woody Barron either believes someone moved early or he's a hell of an actor.
He is trying to sell it, isn't he?
Offside, BC, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And it turns out it was he who moved early.
What do you want?
But he was so convincing.
He almost had us. Officials on top of it though, 1st and 5. Sitting on that BC 8. Will Winnipeg draw up here? Kolaris, 269 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. A big one to Schoen, a big one to Lawler. Trying to deliver one more blow to the Lions here before the half is out. In the pocket to the end zone, and that one batted away. Sales in coverage. No flags on the play as he was looking for Rasheed Bailey.
Well, Sales, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Nice job in coverage here. Well-timed play on the football for the halfback.
Another crack at it for Kolaris. Good protection to the corner, and that one incomplete. Edwards Cooper working against Lawler. And the third-year Lions corner wins that battle.
Well, quiet start here for Matthew Betts. He's lined up his usual defensive end spot, but watch, he's going to get a little attention, not just from Jermarcus Hardrick, but a little extra help from the guard, Patrick Neufeld, on that one. And this has been a lot of the story for Betts in this ball game, is Winnipeg's done a decent job on him when they've been one-on-one, but many times it's been that extra attention, quite often with 2 offensive linemen.
3 sacks in week 3. Not a sniff here tonight. Castillo gets another one through, and Winnipeg on top, 27-4. A true stunner here to kick off week 9 in the Canadian Football League. What's the message from Campbell at halftime for a team that's been so good so far this season, but getting a dose of their own medicine from week 3.
Yeah, when we talked to Rick Campbell during this week, one of the things he talked about, referring to the previous meeting between these two games, was that, the message was that wasn't a make or break game. That for them, a lot of their messaging is that obviously you want to win, but it's not about wins and losses. It's about process and doing things the right way. It's about playing well and recognizing that if you play well, you're going to get your share of victories. And so, I think for Rick Campbell, as I've said all along, it's not about abandoning the game plan necessarily.
Davis in the game, sends one down the field, almost. Excellent effort from Rhymes, but he just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, something of a Hail Mary here from Dom Davis, looking to Dom Rhymes down the sideline. But, just to finish the earlier thought, when the message all year has been about process more than outcome, I don't know that you're necessarily going to see drastic changes to the game plan. It'll just be a case of we need to execute this better.
Davis looks for the deep shot again, and that one also batted down. That time it was Hatcher getting a crack at it, and Rose was there to deny him again. That will do it for the first half, a statement half from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are 3-1 at home this season, and as we mentioned, lost in week 3. That one loss here at home, 30-6 at the hands of the BC Lions. Just 2 field goals from Sergio Castillo in that game. Winnipeg had 2 touchdowns before you even sat down at your television tonight, and they have not looked back just yet. Kenny Lawler, huge first half, 126 yards, got 5 of 6. What a nice addition right now.
Well,
lineup.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the Bombers lineup and the people that they have been adding, that weren't necessarily there at the start of the season. First it was Jackson Jeffcoat, then you look at Kenny Lawler coming back tonight, Kyrie Wilson and Winston Rose coming back, and you've got a Bomber team that's getting stronger and stronger.
It's not an easy job tonight, but John Liu has tracked down and held on to Kenny Lawler.
Well, Kenny, Zach Collaros, his first 3 passes, all deep balls, 2 for touchdowns. What was the BC defense giving you that you were able to go deep on those plays?
They're giving us what we want, man. They believe in their secondary. They want to play man. Well, they got to play man against some dogs over here, and that's what we are, man. We go up, go get it every time. Zach gonna throw us the ball. He believes in us to go make a play, so that's exactly what y'all are seeing and witnessing right now.
Can you just break down what's happening at the line of scrimmage that's giving Zach so much more time against that BC front 7 than the first time you guys faced him?
Trench work, man. Those boys is over there just eating in the trenches right now. They're giving Zach all the time we need. That allows us on the outside to make plays, man. If without them old linemen working, we don't get the ball down the field, and it's just a collective effort.
Thanks for this, Kenny. Yeah. Let's send it to Kate in the panel.
Okay, I know they didn't want to talk about redemption, and that's all we talked about. After watching that interview right there and watching the first half, you can't tell me for 1 second this isn't a redemption game, to say the least. Jim Barker, Paul LaPolice, and Milt Stegall, and just a tremendous performance by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Week 3, what? Before we get into the game itself, just at the end of half, very interesting there, Coach. We obviously saw Dom Davis go in there. We saw Dane Evans clutch his ribs. At this point, we're speculating, but why would you put him in at that instance? And then if this does happen that Dom Davis is coming in, VA has to dress, correct?
Correct. So to me, it looked like he had hurt his ribs earlier, and when he threw the interception, he got hit right in that same area. Him not coming back out, with 8 to 10 seconds left. Right. That says he may have a problem. Now, if he has a problem, he can't play, then Vernon will come out dressed in the second half. Dominique Davis will probably play.
Oh, he will. Yeah.
Because they're down 20. I doubt they're going to put him in because he was still limping, it looked like a little bit.
Right. And it's an incredibly interesting storyline. On the flip side, though, we should be talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, because what a statement they've made in just half of football here. They came out the very first drive, and it was completely different, the adjustments they immediately made to this BC Lions defense. And we're not talking about the Lions pass rush whatsoever.
Yeah, here's the best thing about when you already have a game in hand, you've already played somebody once, and you get the bye week, you're looking at the same formation. So Buck Pierce is looking at the same formations, the same motions and everything, and trying to take advantage, and they found some advantages. Obviously, Kenny Lawler on a deep shot. We talked about getting explosive pass plays and how they could do it. Lawler's got 5 catches, 126 yards, 51-yard touchdown, and Dalton Schoen has got 3 catches, 90 yards, 71-yard touchdown you just saw. But they are going after it downfield. As this guy just said, I'm a dog. We got a bunch of dogs on the field. Let's go make our plays. I love that interview, right? And certainly they had a good scheme. They had plenty of time to watch it, and it's paying off.
Lawler has more yards than Dane Evans has passing. He has received more receiving yards, and that's been the big difference. You talked about the Blue Bombers are making big plays, and the BC Lions aren't. They tried to come out early on and match that effort, see if they can throw the ball downfield, and they haven't been successful with it. You think about this play. This is on Lucky Whitehead. This is an excellent throw by Dane Evans. Lucky Whitehead, you're paid a decent amount of money. You have to make that catch. There are no excuses. I know you're not trying to drop it, but your team is in the hole. You have to make those plays. And then we saw Dane struggle a little bit. Some of this is on him. He's making some bad throws. Great play by Houston. You can't allow this interception to happen, especially when you're backed up playing against a hot team like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Dane, he does look like he's hurt. He has an opportunity to throw it over Brandon Alexander. Brandon Alexander makes a great play. He undercuts it. Look at this. He throws it up. Hatcher has a chance to go score. So maybe this is the reason why Dane Evans is not in the game, because he can't make that long throw. But they have to come out in the second half and make some plays. Otherwise, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to grind this game out, and the BC Lions won't have a chance.
Since 2017, the Bombers 11-1 after the bye. Zach Claros a perfect 6-0, and my goodness, they're looking like that team right now. Week 3, what? Much more coming up right after this. If you missed the pregame, we're introducing a new segment called Straight Fire. You send us your football highlights, and check this one out from the Locksmith on Twitter. Boys, U16 Flag Football Nationals. QB drops it on a dime. A beautiful touchdown.
Nice.
See, we just said that a few hours ago. We're already getting highlights. Send it to us. Send it to the CFL on TSN. Hashtag CFL Straight Fire.
Yes.
We will put it on national TV. All right, I've got a great debate question. Ready for this one? What will happen first in the CFL this season? Toronto Argonauts lose a football game. Edmonton Elks win a football game.
Ooh, go ahead, Coach.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm going to say that the Edmonton Elks are going to win a football game. I just believe that that time's going to come. They're going to try some new quarterbacks. I'm going to say the Elks win a football game.
I'm going to go with you with the Elks, too. Some of these other teams facing them, they're going to say, oh, we don't have to play our best game, where they play the Toronto Argonauts. They're going to have to play their best football, right? And you got the 2 Calgary games against the Elks. I think the Elks are going to get the win, Mel.
Well, Kate told me to say this, but she says it's going to happen at the same time. They play on October the 6th. Toronto will probably have the East. They'll have the East wrapped up, so they'll be sitting down on other guys. But no, I'm with you guys.
Don't do that to the Elks.
I'm with you guys. I think the Elks will get a win before the Argos lose. Where's it going to happen? I'm not sure. But the Argos, the way they're playing, I mean, their next real challenge. I mean, every game is a challenge, but their next real challenge will come against Winnipeg, and that's what, September the 29th. So I'm going to say the Elks will get a win before the Argos lose a game.
Not that I want to see Toronto lose, but I think as a panel and just talking about it constantly, I just want to see an Elks win.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, no more segments.
They do too.
Oh, my goodness. Just for those home fans in that organization, my goodness. And I did not tell you to say that, by the way.
Yes, you did.
By the way, I have another straight fire clip. Do you want to see it?
Let's see it. CFL straight fire.
You ready for this? We got sent from Winnipeg. Let's take a look here. Oh, these dogs! They're straight fire. Look at that doggo.
Kenny Lawler said the dogs are out.
Football?
That's good, Lapo. Well
dogs
played.
on the field.
That's impressive.
Time for some unfiltered stats with Jim Barker.
There it is.
Well, this is complete domination by the Bombers. It was not going to happen twice. It just wasn't. 317 yards. All we talked about was sacks by BC. They had none. There was no turnovers for Winnipeg, 3 for B, just complete domination. And, BC, if they're as good as they say they are, they're going to come back.
I like
they're going to come back and they're going to at least make it a game.
Tell them, Coach.
At least make it a game.
Tell them.
Keep going, Coach.
30-6.
Tell
it was
them
30-6
Stop
game
the
one.
dogs.
Tell them,
the
Coach.
dogs.
I like it. Jim Barker Unfiltered. New segment.
New segment.
A beautiful night in Winnipeg at IG Field, especially for the Bombers. They lead 27-4. Lions head coach Rick Campbell is with our John Luke.
Rick, first things first, what is the status on Dane Evans?
Dom Davis is going to start the second half, but Dane has not been ruled out yet. He's still working with our doctors, so we'll see how that goes.
What was your message to the team during halftime?
We gotta keep playing. This is a tough environment. These guys are full of energy and ready to go, and we got to come back here and fight our way back into this thing.
Big ball of wax. So what's the smallest priority that you have to attend to first?
We just talked about as individual coaches, players, whatever's, do the best job you can to the best of your ability, and let's see what happens.
Thanks for this, Rick.
All right, thanks.
One thing at a time. Evans still being looked at. Luku. Interesting to see what happens. There he is. He's dressed, ready to go. Davis will start, but Vernon Adams Jr. warming up.
Yeah, he started the game in street clothes. He was listed as the number 3 quarterback on their roster, situation where I suppose in an emergency he could play, but as you heard them discuss a little bit on the panel at halftime, it would take a very extreme situation, I think, for Vernon Adams to see the field there.
Greg McCray takes it all the way outside the 40 before he is wrapped up. Zach Collaros in the first half, let's just say it was a good one.
Zach Collaros came out swinging, or at least slinging, airing the ball out. Hit Dalton Schoen for a long one on their first possession. Came back a possession later. Finds Kenny Lawler over the top. Had another deep ball to Lawler that resulted in a pass interference call, setting up another Winnipeg touchdown. An aggressive offensive effort.
280, 2 touchdowns as well. Brady Oliveira right up the middle, tripped up, or else he would have had a much larger chunk. Just 5 carries in the first half for number 20 in blue.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Right up the middle here. Keep an eye on left tackle Stanley Bryant. Right side of your screen. Working down inside. He's just going to wash down the crashing linebacker past the point of attack, allowing his running back to hit that second level.
TJ Lee taking down Oliveira. Prukop into the game for the first time in a 2nd and 3. He can run with it, but we've seen them pass the ball in the pass. This time he fakes the handoff, takes off, and he's got a first down and more. Prukop takes it all the way down inside the 45, and the Bombers pick up where they left off in the first half.
Dakota Prukop, experienced in these situations. They've built a package around his ability to run with that football. And you see why. Nice execution there.
A couple of rushing touchdowns this year for Prukop. Back on the sidelines as Collaros will go back to work. Gets this one away to Lawler. Peters wraps him up and takes him down. Close to a first down. There's a comfort level there with Collaros and Kenny Lawler, isn't there?
These guys separated for a year, but apparently didn't miss a beat. Kenny Lawler, as you mentioned earlier, dusting over 90 yards in his 2023 debut. Over 100 in game number 2 of the season for him. Trending in a frightening direction.
At 1,000 yards in the shortened season. Only got to do it. Crew Cup back in. First down, Winnipeg. Lawler had 9 targets, 7 catches last week. He's already at 136 yards on 6 catches this week. Coming in to this game, BC's been rolling, no doubt about it. They played on Saturday in Edmonton, so 4 days rest. Winnipeg almost 2 full weeks off, 13 days rest, and sure looked like that in the first half, didn't it?
Yeah, it's not ideal circumstances, but
Collaros fakes that handoff out to his right, looking to the end zone for Dembski. What a pass from Collaros! His 3rd touchdown of the game, into the hands this time of Nick Dembski.
you know, I talked earlier in this ball game about how being under pressure affects a quarterback's accuracy. I think this was Zach Collaros' way of saying, whatever. Guy right in his face, and he drops a perfect dive to Nick Dembski.
Five plays, 68 yards, no time at all, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. And the hill to climb a little bit bigger for the BC Lions. Castile hammers it through. And after getting beat down in week 3 here at home, Winnipeg returning the favor in a big way. Dembski hauls it in, 4th of the year. Well, the party is on at IG Field, and everybody getting involved here. Look at this. Jamarcus Hardrick comes in, the right tackle, grabs our camera, and goes to work.
When Jamarcus Hardrick says he wants your camera.
There it is. There it is. You give him the camera.
You give him the camera. I mean, he's a big dude.
You would go down for that lower angle too. Seasoned pro. The return here, good one. Just shy of the 45 as LaFrance gets involved. Hardrick and that offensive line have done an excellent job so far tonight.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job of his day job. Marcus Hardrick. The energy guy on that O-line.
Dane Evans still being assessed by the medical staff. Dom Davis gets the ball for the BC Lions. Start here on their own 45. They'll hand it off. And a short pickup on first down. Dane Evans, if you're just joining us, why is he not in this game? Well, we believe it to be this moment right here. A little run-in with Adam Bighill.
Ball released. You see Evans right away.
He did stay in the game after that, but got hit again, I think. And hanged him up. Vernon Adams, who was not dressed in the first half, decided to quickly get dressed here. Davis over the middle for Hatcher. That one just a tad too far. And Hatcher could not haul it in.
Yeah, watch for Hatcher coming in right to left on your screen, appearing down the middle of the field. Davis trying to lead him just inches too far.
From top, Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading by 29. Welcome back to Investors Group Field. Tonight is Purolator Tackle Hunger Night here in Winnipeg. Since 2003, Purolator, along with the CFL and its member clubs, and Canadians like you, have helped the Tackle Hunger program donate close to 20 million pounds of food to local food banks, and the need is greater now than ever. Go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to donate, and here's a look at what's next for Purolator Tackle Hunger. In Vancouver, next Saturday, Edmonton, Hamilton, Toronto, Ottawa, and Regina on the schedule. Once again, PurolatorTackleHunger.ca for more information. And that is where you can make a donation if you're watching here tonight.
That's such a great cause. So well supported by Canadian Football League fans.
Brady Oliveira trying to push ahead. Short pickup on first down with Winnipeg in full control here. Probably expect to see a lot of Brady Oliveira the rest of the way.
That's it. The Bombers over the years have established themselves as pretty good closers, and it's a combination of the guys up front and the guy in the backfield, whether it's been Andrew Harris or Brady Oliveira.
When it's time to go to work, they get her done.
Get her done.
Not uncommon to see Winnipeg put together 8, 9, 10-minute drives to seal games away. Claris this time, though, down the field for Schoen, and he holds it in at the 35. Some hand fighting there, but Schoen was able to grab it, and that'll put him over 100 yards on the night.
Well, a lot of people with little extra effort to make plays happen. Watch, first of all, the running back, Brady Oliveira, lines up a little wide, but his guy, Ben Hladek, loops inside. You see him dive back in, get just enough of Hladek's leg to knock him down out of the way of his quarterback, and then tremendous effort to make the catch by Dalton Schoen.
Schoen's at 120, caught all 4 balls thrown his way. Oliveira rumbling his way down, first down and more, all the way inside the red zone.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers just continue to attack right up the gut. Watch the motion here, Rasheed Bailey, receiver getting in on the action, helping out in this blocking scheme. As he cuts down his man, a blitzing TJ Lee. Help keep his running back clean through the line of scrimmage.
Claris out into the flat. Dembski takes it down to about the 15. Pick up a 5 on that first down pass.
The Blue Bombers just chipping away now. After getting the BC Lions defense back on their heels with some big plays early in this ballgame.
BC 6-1 coming into tonight, 5-0 versus the West, including a win right here at IG Field in week 3. The Bombers 5-2, 3-1 at home, looking to change that tonight. Zach Claris already with his 4th 300-yard passing game of the season to the end zone. Touchdown Winnipeg, and a good old-fashioned blowout is on at IG Field. 4 touchdown passes for Zach Claris.
Well, once again, Claris is given time. He's got a bit of a freebie here with what should be offside against BC.
Offside, BC, number 56. Offside, Winnipeg, number 83. It'll be second down repeated.
Offsetting penalties, and Zach will have a chance to throw another one instead.
Yeah, Lions off the hook there as Dalton Schoen had moved a little early as well. See if the Lions defense can take advantage of this second chance.
A do-over on second down from the BC 15. Oliveira to the left of his quarterback. Colares moving around. Really get rid of it. Spins back. Official gets out of the way. And finally, Zach just turns and heaves it out of bounds. 3rd and 5. He tried to extend it, didn't he?
Yeah, we don't necessarily see a ton of this from Zach Colares, but demonstrating he's still got a few moves to stay alive on this one. There are a couple points in this play where it looked like Dalton Schoen was open, but just not in moments where Zach was able to get his eyes in that direction downfield, and he was too busy trying to evade the rush.
Castillo back to work, 2 for 2 already tonight. This one from 23. And he knocks it home. Winnipeg in full control at home. Welcome back to Winnipeg, and welcome back to Kyrie Wilson and Winston Rose, who both returned to the lineup. Big-time duo. A Grey Cup clinching duo returning to the lineup here.
Yes, very fitting when we think back. The 2021 Grey Cup, a ball deflected there by Winston Rose into the arms of Kyrie Wilson that sealed a Grey Cup win. 2nd in a row for the Bombers.
Completion to Hatcher. Late flag we saw come flying in there. Be enough for a first down if it stands.
Unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg, number 4. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Adam Bighill shaking his head. Didn't like the call.
And we'll take a look at the tail end of this one. Hatcher lined up out wide here. Catching this one in traffic. Maybe from field level it looked like he came in a little higher, but certainly appeared to be a clean hit from that angle.
Now Bighill coming after Davis, gets it away. He's got Hatcher again, stays on his feet, spin move down to the 30. And some nice effort there from Keon Hatcher.
This play was all about the spin moves as Bighill at the line of scrimmage freed himself up on the blitz with a spin move to beat his blocker, and then Hatcher with a couple of nice pirouettes on the run after the catch.
Hatcher 333 yards in 4 games coming into this one. Davis far side of the field, and that one not enough juice on it, and it falls incomplete in front of Hatcher, who tried to go down and scoop it up but could not get there.
Well, it's an interesting situation when you look at the BC Lions quarterback room. Very unique at a time where experienced quarterbacks are at such a premium in the CFL. To think in Dom Davis, your number 3 guy, you've got a guy with a season's worth of starts, 14 starts for his career under his belt. Dane Evans, your number 2 guy with a couple of years worth of starts, including 2 Grey Cups as your number 2 guy. And then, of course, Vernon Adams, your usual number 1, very different than most teams.
Davis in trouble, and he's taken down at the 40. Jeff Coat. And we've got the 2 teams that were 1 and 2 in the league in sacks coming in, and that, if you can believe it, is the first sack of this football game.
And all the experience in the world. Can't escape this Winnipeg defense. Good get off there by Jackson Jeffcoat. Exploding upfield.
Brian Cole in on the play as well. Sean White from 47. And he's got enough on it. Knocks it through just inside that left upright. And BC has a long way to go. Trailing by a bunch. Brady Oliveira having an excellent season. Of course, does a lot of good work off the field as well. Let's send it down to John Lou for more on that.
Well, thank you, Dustin. And when it comes to dogs, Brady Oliveira wears his heart on his sleeve. And since the beginning of the season, he's been wearing paws on his cleats. Oliveira's boots, these custom-made jobs, are a nod to his and his fiance's tireless dog rescue work in Canada and abroad in support of Canine Advocacy Manitoba. And sometime later this season, or upon its conclusion, Oliveira plans to auction off these cleats either on his socials or at the Winnipeg Humane Society's annual gala, with the proceeds going to Canine Advocacy Manitoba. A woof-wild cause, guys.
Oh, John Lou.
Highlight of the night. Winnipeg on their last 5 drives, 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals, scored on all 5 of them. There's a look at the fancy footwork of Brady Oliveira. Quick completion to Dembski, and he's wrapped up immediately by Lacombo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch the Bombers game plan here. Feeling pretty comfortable with this lead as this third quarter winds down. But
stay healthy, right? Stay healthy.
Well, I think that's got to be something of a consideration. And you know, we know in the Canadian Football League, as a head coach, you're never in a hurry to get your starting quarterback out of the game. That, as the saying goes, no lead is safe. But something you'll probably be aware of in the fourth.
Polaris one more time down the field looking for Dembski. That is incomplete. Much different Winnipeg team than the one that we saw in week 3 from a personnel perspective. Jeffcoat did not play in that game. They just got Wilson and Rose back. Obviously, Kenny Lawler was not eligible.
Yeah, some significant additions.
Some big pieces
over the course of the last month or so for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Yeah, you often think about getting players back down the stretch, guys that have been hurt during the year, but they had some key parts missing to start the year, and they're getting those guys back going into the middle third.
Williams tracks us down just inside the 20. Flag as Williams is taken down at the 20. Special teams solid tonight for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as well.
Illegal block, BC, number 21. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
I think we can say this guy's made a few calls in his time.
So the legendary Ken Lazaruk. Longtime CFL official on field, now off field, working his last game for the Canadian Football League tonight after 46-year career.
46 years, 10 Grey Cups. And tonight's the last one, so congratulations on a heck of a run, Ken.
Yeah, true gentleman. One of the real good guys in the Canadian football world.
Davis gets it to Mizell, but really nowhere to go.
Yeah, Davis in dangerous territory with the Lions again, backed up deep in their own territory. You see Dane Evans on the left in his street clothes. Vernon Adams forced into uniform, but we do not expect to see him take any snaps here tonight. The Lions were anticipating that Adams would return to the starting lineup next week against Calgary.
Davis down the field looking for Hatcher, and that falls in no man's land at midfield.
Brandon Alexander providing the coverage there, not letting Hatcher fight back to the ball, and of course Willie Jefferson making life difficult for Don Davis.
What Jefferson is doing this season is rather ridiculous, to be honest with you. At this stage of his career, to be putting up the numbers and having the impact, not just numbers, but legitimate impact out there on the field is quite something to see. Here's McCray. Nowhere to go on a short return right up the middle, but excellent field position for Winnipeg on a night where everything has fallen their way.
We almost had it, man.
Three multi-sacks games this season. Came into this game with 8 sacks, 7 knockdowns, a couple of forced fumbles as well at the age of 32.
And there you see Jefferson's numbers over the last few years.
And those were good seasons. And he's already surpassed that total. Almost picked one off earlier tonight. Here's McCray. Look at that burst. Craig McCray down to about the 35, right up the middle for a first down with 20 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Yeah, the Bombers have that great ability to attack on the ground in a lot of different ways. McCray directly behind the quarterback. Oliveira in motion as the kick out block. McCray coming right up the middle on this one. Straight downhill.
After 11 yards for McCray, 1st and 10 on the 35, and flags here.
Procedure, Winnipeg, number 67. It's a 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's the center, Kolkowski. Well, both of these teams have managed to keep their offensive lines intact for the season so far, keeping everybody healthy, and that'll go a long way for you.
Yeah, big part of both of these teams being successful. You know, continuity is such an important concept in terms of being successful in this league.
93 yards rushing, almost intercepted, and it is hauled in. And that is Marcus Moore, who makes the play, his first CFL interception. And it's the final play of the third quarter. They've got a long way to go, but a bright spot for the BC Lions as Moore gets into the lineup. The hands of the big man. Well done. Congratulations, sir. BC Lions taking it on the chin tonight, 37-8. Bombers leading this one, and look, 362 passing yards, almost 100 yards on the ground. This is BC defense that usually doesn't even give up anywhere close to 300 yards.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have, whether they intended to or not, delivered a message loud and clear in terms of this one for anybody who was ready to sort of remove them from the list of the CFL's elite teams or Grey Cup contenders or however you want to phrase it. The bottom line is that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
I'm already excited for October 6th, the rubber match.
Yes.
When they meet again, I think that'll be an excellent football game. Hopefully both sides are as healthy as they can possibly be. We'll go at it again for the season series. Barnes, the greatest comeback we've ever seen. Here's Davis. He's going to pitch it out to Mizell. Good job stretching this one out by Mizell. Almost has enough for a first down. Really close.
Big Hill continues his side-to-side ways from the middle of this Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense and middle of your screen. He just continues to climb the all-time tackle list.
Fourth tackle of the game for Big Hill. He's involved here again on short yardage. That will be a first down for the BC Lions. They're yet to find the end zone tonight.
I really believe that the signing of Adam Bighill when he returned to the Canadian Football League as a free agent, had previously been with BC his time up here, but yeah, I think that was the real beginning.
Is that where it started?
Turning this team into a champion.
Mizell wrapped up after a short gain on first down. Then the pieces just fall into place after that, right? You get a guy like Bighill in the middle of the defense, and more importantly, probably in the middle of that locker room.
Yeah.
Things start to come together.
Yeah, exactly. Great leader, a great mentor, role model for younger players. Guy cut somewhat in the mold of his head coach. Now you look at back-to-back off seasons. You add Bighill 1 year in free agency, you add Willie Jefferson the next. That's two pretty good off-season wins right there.
Even the players are waiting for that one to be blown down.
Timeout, BC.
And BC sneaks in a timeout before any flags could fly. Interesting to see BC take this loss. Short rest, go to 6-2. Losing this game isn't the end of the world. They were an underdog coming in. But does the way they lose it impact anything, do you think, when it comes to the discussion?
Well, the one thing that I think has an impact in terms of the way they've lost is you look at this in the Toronto game.
Yeah.
And both games they got down and never really got back into the games.
Davis completion to Hatcher, plunging ahead, first down for the visitors.
So they've certainly shown an ability to rebound game to game, but I think in terms of really battling back from that adversity within a game, I think that's a theme to keep an eye on. Hatcher lined up on the outside here, far left of your screen. Defender sitting off. See if they just sit that one down in the sticks.
10 targets for Hatcher. His 4 catches tonight. Davis, pressure coming, gets it away quickly. Called in by Rhymes. And he lunges ahead, awfully close to another first down. When healthy, we said coming into the game tonight, probably the 1-2 receiving cores in the league, and the big boys from Winnipeg stepped up tonight, but BC certainly has that explosiveness somewhere in there too.
Well, they do, but you look at the difference, as you said tonight. The Winnipeg guys have made some big catches. For BC, there have been some near misses on big plays.
One downfield to Lucky Whitehead. Another one intercepted, looking for Hollins. Mizell, nice move to get around Bighill. Don't see that very often, and he takes it down inside the 20.
Yeah, I think a lot of the messaging for Rick Campbell and the Lions at this point will be about how they finish this football game. Regardless of scores, you got to battle, you got to keep competing. You can point to a couple of games this year with some rather marvelous comebacks.
Flags here. BC.
Procedure, BC, number 54. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It's Andrew Pearson. BC coming into this game, 6 different wide receivers with 200-plus yards in the air. Hatcher missed some time. Rhymes missed some time. So guys like Hollins and McKinnon have had an opportunity. Even Whitehead's missed some time. So everybody's had an opportunity to play consistently so far this year. All of them have contributed one way or the other. How about that guy, Katoy? He's got 22 of 23 balls thrown his direction this year. Hasn't been targeted so far here tonight. Davis outside to Hatcher. Can't hang on as Adam Bighill draped all over his back.
Well, Bighill just appears everywhere, and I've said it about him so many times. A guy who can impact a game so many ways defensively, whether it's on the blitz, whether it's in coverage, whether it's stopping the run. And you take 2 very versatile defenders, guys who impact the game in so many ways, like he and Willie Jefferson. That's a hell of a
Big Hill picks it up. Winnipeg all night, all over the Lions. Time now for your Coors Light moment of chill, and it's big man Marcus Hardrick going to work. Submit an invoice for that, eh?
Well, double duty. I mean, offensive tackle by day, videographer by night. He's got the strut going. He's got the physical play going. Marcus Hardrick, all fired up tonight.
That strut sums up the night for the offensive line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers rather nicely.
I am going to propose that one game we just have a dedicated Jamarcus Hardrick camp.
Really, for all the struts?
He's pretty entertaining.
Tarps are off. I don't even know whether
better or worse.
Why do they wear jerseys to the game? It doesn't make any sense. Most of the time they're coming off. Hand off to McRae. Contained that time. McRae's one of those guys, I think as an offensive corner, you just try to, you want to mix him in more, right? Because so many other weapons, but you still like to give this guy touches because he's always capable of doing something special.
Yeah, Zach Collaros has talked about having those moments to himself where he's thinking, what other ways can I get the ball to Greg McRae? And just, as he said, wanting to draw plays to put the ball in his hands.
We'll get it into the hands of Brady Oliveira here. And Oliveira fumbles the ball, picked up, and Lacombo is going to take it all the way back for a touchdown. BC finally finds the end zone, and it comes on a Brady Oliveira fumble.
Long road back, but these are the kind of plays you need to try and fight your way back into this game. Oliveira just fighting for extra yards, but got a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I mean, you go airborne. Sometimes it can be tough to hold on to that ball. Coming off a contact, and Bo Lacombo right there to scoop it up and take it to the house.
So they will attempt to pick up a couple more here and make it a 21-point game. Davis, corner, Rhymes tried to one-hand it. That would have been spectacular, but he couldn't haul it in. Something to cheer for BC Lions fans as Oliveira has one slip away. Lacombo scoops it up and takes it home. Good night to be a fan at IG Field. They sense another win coming their way. Leading 37-14. Sean White, low kick, sitting there, picked up by Winnipeg and brought back down inside the 30. Connor Burtonshaw was there, made no mistake.
Yeah, Burtonshaw, one of the many strong special teamers on this Winnipeg roster. Former Queens Gale. Nice job jumping in front of that one. Get himself on the stats sheet. One day tell his kids about how he returned the ball all the way to the other team's 27-yard line.
Where'd you get it at, Dad? At the 5, don't ask. Collaros remains in this football game, hands it off. Brady Oliveira, a huge hole. Oliveira down to the 5. Why not? Brady Oliveira with redemption after a fumble on the last possession.
Man, what fumble? What fumble?
Second rushing touchdown of the game for Oliveira.
And that's the kind of response you want on an individual level and on a team level. This time it's Oliveira in the backfield, McRae in motion, a little misdirection. once again, he is in untouched.
27 yards for the second strike of the night for number 20. And that is off the upright, off the foot of Castillo. But Brady Oliveira would not be stopped, and really it was never even close. Got this ball and cruised home. Winnipeg answers again. CFL on TSN continues with Friday Night Football Showdown between the Argos and Stampeders. Teams kick off at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific only on TSN, and that just gets us rolling into the weekend. Ticats and Alouettes, big-time matchup out east on Saturday, and then on Sunday, the Red Blacks and the Rough Riders. A couple of those games on our partners down south, CBS Sports. Nice weekend of football right there.
It sure is.
Winnipeg setting the tone early in Week 9. Williams on the return. Look at Williams go. How about this? All the way up to midfield, down to the 40, and eventually pushed out of bounds. Terry Williams with one of his best efforts of the season.
Well, we talk all the time about all three phases of football and the need sometimes when the offense is struggling a little bit. You can get a boost from the defense. You can get a boost from special teams. And defense already on the board with 1 touchdown. Special teams providing a short field here for Dom Davis in the O.
Drive will start on the Winnipeg 34. Bombers bringing everybody. They'll get it out into the flat to Hollins. Boy, if he could have made Holm miss, might have had something cooking, but Evan Holm with a nice tackle.
Yeah, that is a good job in space by Holm. He's kind of the one guy out there after Holmes makes a couple miss with a nice move. Jab the outside, inside, outside. Turns it up. Holm gets just enough to bring him down.
Taking off, wanting to run with it, stays on his feet, gets it down to the 20 for a first down as the crowd at IG Field relentless here tonight.
A nice escape here for Dom Davis with the walls closing in. Effort to turn that into a positive play.
Mizell is running back in behind him, 44 yards on 9 carries. The move Rhymes over to the quarterback's right. Hand it off to Mizell. And he's wrapped up and taken down by Wilson. And that first game back from the Achilles that kept him out for over a year.
A great comeback story for Kyrie Wilson. Took some time to talk to us this week a little bit about his rehab, the journey back. Talked about how inclusive the rest of the team was in terms of just keeping him involved in things.
Davis incomplete, and the area was McInnes. Never had a crack at it.
Well, with nothing to lose, the Lions playing 3-down football here.
4 more yards to keep this drive alive for BC. Dane Evans taken out of the game after a heavy hit from Big Hill. Vernon Adams should be ready to go against Calgary next week. Davis pressure pressure. Jefferson hits him up for grabs. And is that intercepted? No. Incomplete. Good crack at it there for Anthony Bennett. Couldn't haul it in, but Willie Jefferson, a major problem that time for the BC offensive line.
Yeah, Don Davis was just trying to buy time. Willie Jefferson. Continues to be a concern.
Drew Brown into the game at quarterback. Saw his other action this year against BC as well on the other end of a game like this. So Brown gets an opportunity. Completed 4 passes in that last game against BC. A couple of touchdowns on the year.
Yeah. Always good to get your backups a little action when you can.
Nice night for Collaros, 19-27, 369 yards, which matches his season high. 4th 300-yard game of the year for Zach. 3 touchdowns. And that one weird interception. Pretty nice night. Now Brown gets some action. Ooh, gets that away as he's hit down the field, and that is caught at the 50 by Kenny Lawler. What a night for Lawler. Finally, Sales hauls him down. Flag on the play. Probably for a horse collar. But Kenny Lawler pulls him in on 200.
Getting a little bit of a feeling of deja vu.
Horse collar tackle. BC number 14. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
You see the tail end right hand of Sales up in that horse collar area. We're gonna add another 50 into this one.
.200 on the nose for Kenny Lawler. In case you were wondering if they needed another weapon in the Winnipeg offense, they've got him. He looks good. Brown from inside the 15. Brown towards the end zone. Touchdown. Ducks it in there for Schoen. And the Bombers pile it on.
So Schoen, the inside receiver on this one's just going to get across the goal line and work underneath. Now here they are in a game where they're already up like 30 points. And there's Dalton Schoen going into the teeth of the defense, knowing he's going to take a lick. Go make a catch for his quarterback.
Schoen well over 100 yards as well. Couple of TDs. Castillo knocks it through. The Bombers have hung a 50 burger on the Lions.
Yeah, but it's not a statement game.
No,
no,
not at all.
No revenge whatsoever.
Something to think about for the Lions, that's for sure. This is one of those games where it's something to think about for the rest of the league. Well, you see Winnipeg back dominating like this.
Yeah, I mean, needless to say, at this point, with the score 50-14, reports of the demise of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were greatly exaggerated.
Lawler at 200, his career high. 205 receiving yards. Al also against the BC Lions. Williams just inside the 15. Can he duplicate his last effort? Takes it out to about the 40, and another crack at it for BC's offense and Dom Davis. Well, the good news for BC is they're going to get their starting quarterback here back in the lineup against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, Vernon Adams, who certainly started this 2023 season on a bit of a heater.
Davis, just over 3 minutes to play here. Four-man pressure. Gets it away. First catch of the game for Cotoy. And it's just shy of a first down pickup for 86 in gray. Thursday night football celebration for the Bombers in Winnipeg. 7-Eleven delivery still blows my mind. Super convenient.
You had a go-to dish at 7-Eleven.
Pizza sub.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Go try it. You'll love it.
I'm just going to take your word for it.
Trying to push it ahead here. Looks like they got it. So this one, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but this one looks to be in the books here at 50-14, which sets up Friday night football. And I'll be whipping over to Calgary for that game tomorrow. Interested to see the Argos. Being in the West, I don't get to see the Argos in person that often, but they look like they got a little bit of a juggernaut there so far this year, and a big test for the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that may be just the thing the Calgary Stampeders need as they try to get themselves back to their usual winning ways, experiencing different level of adversity in Calgary these days.
Davis not going to get away. Took a couple of Bombers to eventually wrap him up. Jake Thomas started it. Jeff Coate finished it. And then you're out east on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Jake Thomas, the longest serving Winnipeg Blue Bomber, New Brunswick native, product of Acadia University.
Time that BC has allowed 50 points in a game since August 15th, 2015, and that was against Hamilton.
Procedure, BC, number 59. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
The last time that they allowed the 50, I mentioned it was against Hamilton. And that guy was the quarterback, and he was on his way to an excellent season before being injured. So, no stranger to hanging 50 on the line.
Yeah.
Mizell just shy of the 50. So, BC has allowed 95 points in games against the Argos and the Bombers, and 49 points in all of their other games combined.
And honestly, for as good as the BC Lions have been this year, you know, the argument would be that the road to the Grey Cup kind of goes through Winnipeg and Toronto.
Yep.
So true. They got to find some answers.
Now, they had a nice win here against Winnipeg, but their two losses were big ones against the other two teams many people view as the best in the Canadian Football League. So, something to keep in mind moving forward. Zach Collaros and the Bombers will be happy with this one. Up next for them, off to Edmonton a week from tonight as the Elks look to end the streak And not easy with the Bombers rolling in after putting up 50 against the best defense in the league.
We don't talk about the streak, Dustin.
We don't have that board we can throw up like we usually do.
We don't talk about the streak.
Okay. Drew Brown, who came into this game, he's 2 for 2 for 78 yards and a touchdown. So he's been all right. Now they'll hand it off. And that's Johnny Augustine into the game, his first touch of the evening with just over 90 seconds remaining. I want these two teams to play a close game. You know, BC with the blowout in the first one, and Winnipeg even cranking it up a notch here tonight. That means October 6th comes down to a field goal, right? A little overtime.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to that one way or another.
Brady Oliveira, 9 carries tonight, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty efficient evening for him. Augustine, second down, nowhere to go. Now, the last time when BC gave up all those points to the Argos, didn't get a lot of help from their offense there. Interception after interception after interception. Tonight, this was an offense that drove on them over and over and over again. This is a little bit of a different loss than that one to Toronto.
Yeah, and I mean, right from the get-go, big plays right out of the gate for the BC Lions. When you look back at the previous meeting between these two teams, all of the talk was about the big plays that BC was making defensively, particularly at the line of scrimmage.
7 sacks in that first meeting of the year. 0 sacks allowed tonight. Williams, good job staying on his feet. Look at Williams, spun around, still going, eventually tracked down from behind. He just had the kicker left to beat.
I don't know if he's the only bright spot for BC tonight, but certainly the brightest, Terry Williams, in those return units. Having a pretty good evening.
It's Kyrie Wilson who ended up tracking him down. As the BC Lions will say that's enough tonight. 50-14, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and this was not a game where the Bombers felt their way into it. Dwayne, this was a game where they came out and delivered a couple of punches right to the face.
Haymakers out of the gate.
Second of 3 between these two clubs. As we mentioned, the season series should have a lot on the line, and we'll have to wait until October 6th for that one in Vancouver. Vernon Adams waits for an opportunity to get the ball back next week against Calgary, but Winnipeg comes out victorious today in impressive fashion. 50-14 your final. Dwayne, it wasn't a statement game, but they made a statement.
Well said. Impressive performance from start to finish for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Again, particularly an offensive line that was much questioned after giving up 7 sacks in the last outing. I think they've made that one a distant memory in many minds.
They were pretty much perfect tonight, that offensive line, and Kolaris not far off either. Almost 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and the party was on at IG Field as the road to the Grey Cup in the West may still go through Winnipeg. Thank you for joining us. Sports Center's next.
Hello, gang. How are you? Welcome to Sports Center. He's Darren Detition. I am Jennifer Hedger, and what a game if you're a Bombers fan. I tell you what, there was a lot of talk about this BC Lions defense heading into this game. They had their new nickname. They were the Donut Boys, coming off their shutout against the Elks last week. But they're a good defense. They've allowed only 5 touchdowns through the first 7 games of the season, but the Bombers really serving notice tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And BC's a different team without Vernon Adams, but in week 3, they were all over Zach Collaros. I mean, they thumped him 7 times. He got sacked a lot. It's hard to throw when you're on your back. They end up losing that game 30-6. Well, tonight it was revenge. 1st and 15 from the Bombers 5. Zach Collaros to Kenny Lawler down the sideline. Lawler 93 yards in his return to the Bombers lineup in their last game. The very next play, Collaros airs it out for Dalton Schoen, and he's showing up and showing out. He's gone. Nobody's going to catch him. He walks in for the 71-yard touchdown. Collaros didn't have a touchdown pass in week 3 against BC. That's also the first touchdown that the Lions have allowed since July the 9th. It's 7-0 for Winnipeg on the Bombers' very next possession.
For Collaros. Lions bring some heat. Collaros down the field again, and he's got it again. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Are you kidding me?
No, we are not. Lawler gets his first touchdown of the season. Collaros starts 3 for 3, 2 tutties. Bombers go up 14-0 later in the first. Dane Evans is going to drop back to pass. He'll go deep, but it's picked up by Demario Houston, who's having a season. That is his league-leading 6th interception of the year. Now 24-4 for the Bombers. Just before the half, Evans throws it through the middle, and that gets picked by Brandon Alexander. Evans, by the way, had to leave the game after that play due to a rib injury. He did not return as Dominique Davis took over at quarterback, while Vernon Adams, who dressed for emergency purposes, only serves as the backup. Let's go to the third quarter. 27-4 for the Bombers.
I don't think this is
Collaros still rolling. He's going to keep it, and he'll find Nick Damsky for the touchdown. Collaros' 3rd touchdown pass of the day. They lead by 30 in the 3rd. The Bombers, yeah, this was a revenge game. Having fun with it. Oh, lineman Jamarcus Hardrick taking the camera to film the celebration. Bombers blow out the Lions. They throw a 50-piece on them tonight. 50-14 is your final. The Bombers, they really have been the standard bearers in the Canadian Football League over the last few years, and that continues. I know the Argos are 6-0, and I'm looking forward to that matchup later in the season, but Winnipeg has won 30 of their last 33 home games. Zach Collaros, 22-2 at home since joining the team. Try and wrap your head around that. Winnipeg improves to 11 up, 1 down, coming off a bye since 20-17 as the Bombers even up their season series at 1 game apiece. With more, let's go to Kate in the panel.
Alongside Jim Barker, Paul LaPolice, and Milt Stiegel. And I know that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers didn't want to talk about redemption going into this game. This wasn't just redemption. This was an absolute beat-down statement game. Lapo, right from the start of this one, it was a completely different feel than week number 3.
You hear all the time about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers being old, guys. They don't have a great team because they're old. You know, as a head coach, Mike O'Shea walked in this week and said, hey, we're going to prepare for a normal game. But the leadership of that room, you could tell that they were focused all week. You didn't have to tell them much. They were prepared and ready to go. They weren't going to let anything slide. That's why you like having great older leaders in that room. I know they got Rose, Wilson, and Lawler back, but I'm telling you, that was a focused group tonight. They had fun out on the field, and they said, we are going to show up and make sure you guys understand that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are one of the best teams in the league.
And as Kate mentioned, of course, they're going to say it's not about revenge or redemption. Yes, it was. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't publicly come out and say that, but I guarantee you they wanted to show that what happened to them last time against the BC Lions, that was just a one-on thing. Now we're going to come out and play some Winnipeg Blue Bomber football, and that's exactly what they did. From the gun, from the opening gun, they came out making big plays with Schoen and Lawler. Then they grounded it out with Oliveira. So they're back to playing Winnipeg Blue Bomber ball, but now these BC Lions have to go back and look themselves in the mirror because they were dominating early on the first 7 games, only giving up 5 touchdowns, and you put a performance like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back.
It was dominant. I'll give you that. It was dominant. But remember now, they came off a bye. 2 weeks to prepare for a team that had beat them at their own home, and you got BC coming off of a short week. So there's a lot of things that went into, they should have won that game. Those of you that thought that wasn't going to happen, you should know better.
Excuses. No excuses, Coach.
So, you know, my point is that this was a game Winnipeg needed to come back and become the bullies that they are, and they did. They came and they knocked them out. They basically beat them in every phase of the game. And when you do that, when you go out and you beat them every which way, now on that return game, October 6th, it's going to be a war, and I guarantee you, BC Place going to be full.
And one of those things, too, we were saying, I mean, that's such an important game, obviously, but the season series as well. It wasn't just this game. This meant a lot overall, Lapo.
And how great is it? The great schedule makers that put that game in BC Place. That'll be awesome crowd, big game. Hopefully that's first place on the line.
So I think we should go to BC.
Let's go. Let's
I'm taking a road trip. And Winnipeg coming off a bye now. They are now 12-1 since 2017. Zach Collaros, a perfect 7-0 in his past 7 starts coming off a bye. A tremendous performance from the Bombers as we send it back to SportsCenter.
Yeah, Bombers win big. It's new on SC. Here's Brady Oliveira.
Brady, all week, your team was very careful to not call this redemption, revenge, or even a statement game. But now that it's in the books by that large a margin, how would you characterize this win tonight?
Yeah, I think, you know, we focused on us all week. It was literally the next opponent on our schedule. We really do take things, you know, day by day, week by week here. You know, focus on us. You know, look to the left, you look to the right of you. You know, our inspiration is in this huddle, is in this locker room, and we play for, you know, the guy next to us, and we go out there and honor our teammates every single week. So I think we went out there and we showed that from start to finish. You know, we talked lots about playing an entire 60 minutes on all 3 phases, and I think that's what we did tonight. We were able to really go out there and score points, stay on the field. And yeah, you know, this does taste very sweet. A victory against a very good opponent. It's hard to win in this league, so it was a good win.
How dominant was your offensive line tonight? 0 sacks on Zach after 7 the first time you faced BC.
Those guys were on fire all night. I mean, I've said it week in and week out. It's the best offensive line in the CFL. A heavy veteran group. So no, they did an amazing job. Yeah, they were on fire tonight. They're all on the same page, moving people all night. Those boys went to work tonight.
Brady, 2 touchdowns. The second one, though, how important was it for you to at least get the opportunity to take it to the house after putting one on the floor that went the other way for 6?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, my teammates on the sidelines kept telling me, you know, keep my head up. You know, we're going to come right back to you, and that's exactly what they did. You know, I appreciate my coaches and my teammates trusting me, and I was able to go out there on the next drive and put it in the end zone. It feels good. The offensive line did a great job allowing me to get to the second level and get in the end zone, so it feels great.
Thanks for this, Brady.
Thank you, John.
All right, here are the remaining games in the CFL this week, powered by FanDuel. The undefeated Argos are the biggest favorite of the week as they visit the Stamps. Toronto, perfect 6-0 against the spread this season, perfect 6-0 on the season itself. Montreal, small road favorite in the Hammer. Those teams battling for second place in the East. Then it's the Riders, a home underdog against the Red Blacks. You can catch all the action right here on TSN.